Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John, and this isn't a recording. We're live.
I'm back. I'm tweeting.
You're tweeting.
Tweeting
JD's having some
difficulties. I'm tweeting
network
the
issues. There you go.
my image network issues. You guys sound weird.
Yeah, you were just breaking up there for a
A
second.
little
Oh.
bit. Yeah.
All right.
Now you,
Yeah, stop downloading porn.
So I just said nobody downloads porn anymore. It's not the 90s. You stream it.
Stop streaming it.
I'm not
Streaming all
streaming
your
any porn
bandwidth.
right now.
So how is everyone doing? JD, we haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
Been a while. I'm all right, man. We went and saw what's that movie? We went and saw for Christmas today with the soundtrack performed live by the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. So that was a blast.
Cool.
Yeah, had
And
fun. Just got home.
I guess you went with Andy and your wife?
The family, yes.
Yes. He liked it?
He had a blast. It's one of his favorite movies. That's why we went.
Okay. Cool. What else have you been up to for 2 weeks?
Well, I missed the show last week, as you guys know. I think Dave told everybody that my kid hurt himself. Yeah, my little Boy Scout was his grandparents got him a multi-tool, and he thinks he's a big kid now. So he was playing with knives essentially and sliced his hand up real good. So we had to take him to the emergency room. They didn't stitch like I thought they were going to. They just put a bunch of super glue in his hand. So
Yeah.
But it was more the blood and like everything flying around that really kind of made things kind of spooky.
But he's all right.
He's fine.
Okay.
on the bright side, where the blood is spilled in your house, you don't have to decorate for Halloween.
No, the dog licked it up, so you're
Oh.
fine.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, so, that went great.
Brilliant.
That's what best friends do.
Yeah, Aster's like, ooh, yum.
They clean up each other's blood.
Yeah, that's what being a kid's all about. Hurting yourself and having your dog eat your blood. Happy Halloween.
Yes. Happy Halloween.
Do, do,
Ah.
do, 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 3 more. Or actually,
my God,
two more
that
days
song is
till
everywhere.
Halloween. Halloween, Halloween. 2 more days till Halloween. Silver Shamrock. If you're listening to this, the podcast version, it's All Saints Day, and who cares what you think?
Ooh.
Sweet.
Is that a dig on people who celebrate All Saints Day?
No, people who are missing who don't listen to the show live.
Oh.
That's the dig.
That is the dig. That is the
People
most-
celebrate All Saints Day. I've never heard anyone go, "Hey, happy All Saints Day."
You're right. I've never
No.
seen that.
Not one person. Usually Halloween, the day after Halloween is for hangovers.
Usually the people I've hung with over the last 20 years celebrate Samhain. So
Fastest show ever. What does that
Yeah.
mean, Randy?
I have no idea.
And Kassan says hello.
Hey, Kazan.
yo,
Kazan checked in on me last week. I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. We were all worried about you, you know.
I
and
was
your
fine.
son.
He's fine.
Yeah.
That's part of growing up, man, is you make mistakes and you learn that, oh, maybe I shouldn't play with knives.
You see, here's the thing. I have a 13-year-old nephew, and what did I just get him for this Christmas coming up?
A knife?
multi-tool.
A multi-tool. Okay.
Well, you need a
A,
multi-tool.
a Swiss Army knife.
There's a big difference between 13 and 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So the 7-year-old needed to learn.
And he did.
He did. He
There
did.
you
I didn't
go.
think he'd hurt himself too bad, but I had a hunch something like this would happen. I thought it would take more than 35 minutes, though.
Oh, Jesus. He's setting a new record.
Yeah.
It was like immediate. So, you'll live, learn.
Yeah. Yes, you do. How about
Yeah.
you, John? What's
Well-
new with you?
Old and new. Like, I'm still dealing with the probably the worst tooth problem I've ever had. So
Pull it.
still waiting for I have to go back to the dentist this week to have them do a little bit more on the side, it's I won't describe it. It's not fun. It's even, even for Halloween it's a little graphic. But part of getting old. On the other hand, I've got most of my garage set up Dave, I sent you a pic. I'll send you JD a pic. But
Please.
it's
Yeah.
basically one of the bays has been turned into this like I have these stands with was it the backgrounds of the inside of a bloody clown tent
Yes.
and
You put
you
you
know,
put pictures on your Facebook too. I saw. Yeah.
yep. So I'm still working things out. I've got some lights I'm going to hang around the side. I still haven't found a good way to do synchronized lightning with thunder. I can't believe there's not like just a machine that does that. And otherwise, and the fog machine is working just great. So that's about it. And I'm still kind of recovering from New York Comic Con because Jesus,
Yeah.
we say, oh, we're so old, but then you do that and you're like, wow, I remember that being a lot easier, like even 7 years ago.
Sounded like you guys had a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great,
Yeah.
got into places we shouldn't have, and got lots of pictures because of it. It was good. Kind
Kinky.
of happy. Not those.
No,
No.
not kinky. No.
Oh.
No. Not with John. Come on.
Cosplayers. John's
No,
got
but
a soft spot for the cosplayers.
Yeah.
we
Well, that's
we
true.
were able to get onto the floors, before everybody else, and we took pictures of them setting stuff up. We've seen that.
I see the gears turning in JD's head when you said got onto the floors.
Oh dear God!
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, nothing else big going on. It's I can see from our list here that like the actors strike and the writers strike are really taking their tolls because lots of we've got lots of rumors to talk about, but stuff is kind of drying up.
Well,
So
the writer's strike is over, and
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
what I'm hearing, the actor's strike might be over later today, so or into the week. So
I've
some
heard.
talks going on.
I've actually heard that the writers are PO'd, that the actor strike is still going on because they're like, the strike's over, we're ready to get back to work, but there's no actors to
that's
work.
no, they wouldn't be like that because
Yeah, no. I'm serious. Like I saw just from a couple like outlets, nothing like major, but just kind of like the writers were like, we're ready to get back to work. We want them to settle their strike.
Well, yeah, but the sentiment I've seen is, wow, the executives didn't learn from the writer's strike and they just tried to pull the same shit with the actors.
They
It's
did.
like,
They
you-
are.
you-
They're currently doing. But the writers got most of what they wanted. So let's see what happens with the actors. I bet by the time the show hits, the podcast version of the show hits, we have a deal.
It'd be nice,
Yeah.
and
Frosty.
it'd be nice that they get what they deserve. Like the actors and the writers shouldn't have had to have done this. But then again, we live in a capitalistic society, so
I think a lot of it was driven by the fear of the AI stuff too. So
Which is
yeah.
proven that might not. I think there's a lot of the AI fear, the initial AI fears are proven to be kind of maybe not as much as people thought. Maybe things aren't as because things definitely aren't as advanced now. I think we've learned that
Yeah.
ChatGPT is kind of, well, this isn't what we thought it was, and the art is kind of, is
Yeah.
what it is. But I don't think anyone's jobs are getting replaced by AI anytime soon.
And
which,
yet
but
they're
again,
still pushing Code Buddy at my job.
yeah, I mean, like, doesn't mean it can't be done in a couple years, but you had to make sure it can't be done because again, this is the worst AI is ever going to be.
Yep.
The only other thing I'd say, Dave, before we go to you is Matthew Perry. That one hurt.
Yeah. That hurt. That was two tough ones. And I think a lot of people missed that Richard Mole passed away. I mean, he was 80.
So
Yeah, but
he was
like,
80. I didn't realize he was in his 40s when Night Court started.
Yeah. Yep. I was actually reading an article about how it was tough for him to get roles because he's so tall.
Non like serial killer roles.
Right, exactly. So
like how often does a
Of
Bull
course.
Shannon really come up for somebody like that?
Yeah.
Yep. So and then Matthew Perry was 54 and way too young, and he had a heart attack, was in a hot tub and drowned.
Is it a heart attack? Have they confirmed that it was a heart attack yet?
They said cardiac arrest.
Did they?
Yeah. So
And
That was
he had trouble with drugs almost his entire life.
Lots of trouble.
yeah.
That's hard in the
But
old
I
ticker.
Yeah, but I'm old enough that, like, there are lots of series that people say I should watch that I've never seen. But Friends, I watched, as it was broadcast, not streamed, because back then there were no streams.
Old Man River.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Also one
yeah,
of
yeah.
those.
But it
Also one of
was,
those old. It's on one of those rare shows where I don't think anyone on the cast has ever said anything negative about anyone else from the show.
no, they were genuinely affectionate towards one another.
Yeah.
They genuinely liked working with
In
the
fact,
cast and crew.
when they had the reunion special, they even said that, like, after the show ended and they would meet up at a party. And if any two of them met up at a party, that was it for the rest of the night. The two of them would just sit down and talk, and like whoever else they were talking to, like they were done with them. It was like seeing an old friend, and yeah. So
Yeah.
Can I? The show kind of sucked, to be quite honest with you. Like, I'm sorry that Matthew
I-
Perry is gone. It's quite tragic. I understand that. No, 54 is too young. Man struggling with addiction his whole life. I get it. Sad. But I don't know. Show wasn't great.
I thought I don't know if it's just me or there's like my taste or whatever, but Friends was hysterical to me. I loved it. And on the other side, people keep telling me that Seinfeld was awesome, and I
Yeah.
hated that show. So, I don't get, because Seinfeld was just a bunch of people being mean to each other and everybody around them. Maybe it's my mindset. But Friends was just funny.
Randy says it's white people's living single.
Well,
The
yeah,
show was pretty
I
much
get that.
lifted right from Living Single. That's accurate. Unlike Seinfeld, which was just funny. Controversial take. We lost a couple of viewers when I said that.
Well, it probably
Anyway.
lost a few viewers when I said I don't think so, but I don't know.
I mean, you're
Like,
wrong. I mean, like of the two great '90s sitcoms, Seinfeld and Friends, one was actually good, and one had a lot of hot chicks.
So you're talking Seinfeld's dates. That's the one.
They were
that's-
hot, yeah, but they had like you had consistent hot. Like, let's be real. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is way hotter now than I think she was in Seinfeld. I think it's the hair, quite frankly. I think that '90s hair has not aged well.
She's
Like, meanwhile,
like a lot of
she's
women. She gets better with age. Yes.
she's in her like late 50s and like yowzer. Yes. Whereas the Friends girls were all batting 1,000 from the years 1994 to 2004.
I was talking about how fun it was and the situational comedy and all that.
I said they were hot.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, that was the appeal. The writing sucked on Friends. It was not funny. It was very bargain basement, bottom of the barrel. People say about Seinfeld was awful. People, is there a worse character in television than Ross? What the heck was their
Geller.
last name? Geller.
Ross
Like,
Geller,
yeah, he's a horrible human being, an absolutely horrendous human being.
Is he?
Yes, 100%.
worse than
One of
worse than Jerry
television's least like
Seinfeld?
yes, one of television's least likable characters.
And
Okay.
you think Jerry Seinfeld was a likable character?
You knew what Jerry was, right? And Jerry doesn't like Jerry is Jerry from moment one. Ross spirals down. Like he's this like semi-lovable dad, like single dad, trying to be all right by season 1. By season 4, he's married like 4 times. He's horrendously selfish. Like he can't take any criticism. Like this whole "we're on a break" thing because he can't face anything. I can never get into Seinfeld. The character's just annoying and overdone.
See that's it though. I think, and first off, JD, every once in a while we come against one of these things, and I am just really surprised at your take. But I think it's like, I don't know, it must be like the sense of humor that you're born with, because
be.
there's a contingent that if they like Seinfeld, they don't like Friends. If they like Friends, they don't like Seinfeld. And there doesn't seem to be any like
It's like
any-
Elvis
kind of-
and fans.
there's no Venn diagram with overlap there.
I accept both the shows for what they were. I kind of feel like, and I don't disagree. Like Ross is in a lot of ways a terrible character, and in another ways,
I don't know if he's a terrible character, but as
he's
like he
he's
has
very
character. He's just a terrible person, right? Like the character, it's not like he's a terrible character. He's not a well written character. Like the character achieves what they wanted to achieve, but he's just not a good person. Like if Ross Geller is a person, it's an awful human being.
Well, Seinfeld was pretty damn horrible to
But
everybody
you're
around him too.
supposed to be. That's the whole thing of Seinfeld. Is these are shitty people. Friends get together at the coffee shop and they just hang out and tell little jokes, and it's just so cute and sweet and fun. Like that was
Wow.
that was how Friends was marketed. Seinfeld had an edge, right? Friends
I
wasn't
can't
an
wait to
edgy
hear your take
show.
on Loki.
Well, you're not going to get one because I haven't seen it yet. I just finished Ahsoka.
Oh,
I finished Ahsoka. Boy,
Okay.
that was good. I really liked it.
took you
I'm gonna-
long enough.
I'm getting whiplash here. I didn't
Dude,
think you'd like it. You like it. I am getting whiplash here.
Well, Ahsoka, I thought Ahsoka was great. I really enjoyed it. I
Huh.
was entertained immensely by it. I love the undead stormtroopers. I just think this whole thing is great.
Huh.
I think it was different. I think it was different enough. I think that's what I've been wanting for different Star Wars.
I kind of thought the undead stormtroopers would appeal to you because of your love of horror.
Because I'm
Yeah,
a
and it's something
nutcase.
and something that really hasn't been done in Star Wars before. So
It's from a book. Like we've seen it in a book. But again, I'm all for lifting stuff from the EU and
right,
bringing it into traditional Star Wars because I was not happy with just trying to do a soft reboot of the original movies, and that's what the prequel trilogy or sequel trilogy was, right?
Yeah.
It really landed flat. Whereas I think the vast majority of stuff we've gotten post has been good. I really liked this. I liked all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. I mean, Book of Boba Fett wasn't great. I liked Obi-Wan. Like I think Ahsoka was, again, I did not watch Rebels, so I don't have that to pull from.
right.
So for me, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm really curious to see where they go with coming up.
So Drew
liked
says
it.
not a fan of Ahsoka. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a shame that they're all tied to their hands are tied because of the sequel trilogy. Like they've got all this good stuff going on, but it's all trying to also explain the sequel trilogy, and somehow Palpatine returned.
So-
like it's a shame about that.
So it's funny because you just said you liked it, but you didn't watch Rebels. I know quite a few people who didn't watch Rebels, and because of that,
Yeah.
they don't like Ahsoka because they're like, it's Rebels season 5, but I haven't seen 1 through 4, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So
I was okay with it because I don't know. I went back. Frost's last 2 seasons were not that good. Not a fan of the undead. I don't know, man. I thought it was fine. I liked it because it was different, and I'm tired of just the same old Star Wars. If you ever watched the YouTube series "What If Star Wars Didn't Suck," my God, that'd have been an epic sequel replacement. It addresses so much that made people relevant. I would never watch a YouTube series called "What If Star Wars Didn't Suck" because I don't think Star Wars does suck. Like even this, like the stuff I don't like, but I don't think it sucks.
Yeah,
except for Rise of Skywalker, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, kind of.
yeah, well, it's funny
Yeah, it
too,
sucked.
right? Because like, we've talked about this before. The prequels didn't like wow a lot of people when they first came out, but they were the Star Wars of that generation,
Mhm.
and they're kids who love Anakin and Obi-Wan from that. Like my son loves Obi-Wan Kenobi because of the prequel trilogy. But like, I feel like the sequels, part of the problem is they were written as kind of fan service.
Got 'em.
They weren't written as like, oh, here's a completely original idea for what happened to the characters afterwards.
Well, it
I
was
don't know if
also
there's
not one
enough fans.
contiguous story, too, right?
That
It
is the
was
problem.
3 different takes.
Yeah.
That's the problem too. Is I don't think there's enough fan service. Like they do some fan service, but not like didn't like if it was total fan service, we'd have gotten Luke 70-year-old Luke Skywalker mowing people down.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
We don't really get that. Like we get these 3 new
Feige is
characters.
giving us fan service.
Yeah,
there.
they don't. Force Awakens is total fan service. The rest of them, like Last Jedi, no, definitely not fan service. I feel like they were
True.
trying to do something in a different direction. It was very controversial, and then they threw it all away with the Rise of Skywalker, and nobody was happy at the end of that movie.
Right.
Like I'll never forget, Palpatine comes back to life in the crawl. I was like, in the crawl? He's back to life in the crawl? You half-ass motherfuckers! Like you can't even give us like we can't even see this. It was so happy.
Yeah.
There's nothing. That movie is seriously depressing in so many regards.
All righty then. Well,
But I liked Ahsoka. Haven't seen Loki.
you
Like and subscribe for more hot takes.
you bastard!
What? Why am I?
You didn't watch Loki yet.
You know how I am. I am a busy human being. I'm going to get up tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm going to go to school. I will be there till 8 o'clock at night. I will come home. I will have to put my kid to bed, and then I have to go to school and do homework. Right? I am busy.
All I hear
hard.
is excuses.
It's hard.
I know.
Hey, I get it. I was working today, so
It's just one of those things where it's like,
And you know
and
how I am with
it's going to
but you know
tie
how-
into social media madness in a way where we talk about superhero fatigue.
And
But
I'm-
this has been
but that's
so
the-
good.
But that's why I'm here, because I have this overwhelming Marvel fatigue right now, where I hear Loki's really good, but I can't get myself excited enough to watch it because they've just let me down so much over the last 2 years.
I get that. I get that. But this, first off, this isn't tied to anything else. Not really, right? So there's
Yes
one,
and no.
1 point for it.
I
mean,
have
yes
a
and no.
feeling that this show is
A lot of people have that same feeling.
is going to impact the rest of the multiverse.
You know what I would
This-
really like? I would really like if a show just impacted itself. I'd really like if I just get a self-contained show that was just good for being a show, and not because it has 28 layers that go into 15 different things.
Wait, I don't see this
Agreed.
doesn't do that. This is
I know,
pretty
but that's like
self-contained as a storyline.
I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of stories having to mean more in the grand scheme, and I just can't get a freaking story. I'm just over it. It's tied
Yeah,
to
well,
everything. Yeah, that's
it's tied, but it's tied to everything. It's tied to nothing. Like what they do is going to impact the rest of the Marvel universe, but you don't need to know anything about the Marvel universe to watch this because it's a self-contained story, right? Like they're not bringing in. You don't have to have seen Captain America and Iron Man and all these other things in order to understand what's going on in this, because this show, that the story is self-contained. It's running its own story. It's not pulling in threads from everything else. You don't even have to know Loki from the Thor movies, really. I mean, you get enough of that from the first season of Loki.
you need the first
So-
season of Loki for it again. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm sure I'll see it eventually. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm just sick of Marvel.
I get it, and that's a major problem for Marvel. But this is probably one of the best things they put out.
I'm looking. I remember. I saw. Oh, Dave. I just pissed Dave off, and he left the show. I read Don's quote. Like I did a little. I caught it on Twitter. Don had a good or social. I forget if it was Twitter, or Facebook. Don had a good quote, and I'll say it for social media madness. But I felt it. I really felt what he said in my bones. And this is he kind of. I wish he was here right now. He really kind of summed up how I felt about it. And we'll touch that later. But I'm not gonna lie, man. It's gonna take a lot for me to really watch Loki because the last couple things have just been so blah.
It just again,
And
this is
that's the thing, and I definitely get that. Like especially after Secret Invasion, like how
Oh,
that
God,
could make
yes,
you
that
not
really
want to
hurt.
watch another show. But
yeah.
this is the complete opposite of like interest, and it's really well written.
Well, I get that, but like I said, there's time in the day and there's other things I want to watch. So I mean, like the fact that it feels like Marvel stuff feels like homework now. It feels like
This isn't-
homework. Like I have to
yeah.
watch this to understand where this is going. Like
I
if you
get
want to know where Loki, if you like, and the fact that that a bunch of ants defanged Kang to me in his first appearance, I'm just kind of like, I already saw him get beat, but I didn't see 8,000 Kangs get beat. I don't know, man. Like
I get it.
I'm so
I mean,
cold on this.
I'll just say again that this is probably one of the best things they put out. Which you know what, when I went to watch the fourth episode just a couple hours ago, right next to it is an advertisement for Werewolf by Night in color. What the hell is that crap?
Shitty movie now in color.
Well, I know you didn't like it, Jake. Again, another
Trash.
take I really surprised me.
Why? Because
But-
it a shitty werewolf and no story.
God, but the thing is, like, even though I
now you
liked
can watch
it's
it in
like,
color.
Yeah,
Now
but
I
why
can watch
would
a
you
bad
wanna
werewolf
watch it?
transformation in color.
The whole point of the direction was to do most of it
Did he?
in black and white,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they're out of stuff, so they're just coloring things. Like
which is ridiculous.
It,
Like,
it, it, it is
I didn't
ridiculous
need a
too,
Ted
because,
Turner version of it, you know?
right. Especially because then it takes away from the end of the movie where it turns into color.
Yeah,
Like
Mhm.
you
there was a
lose
point
that
to that. Yeah.
impact.
Now you can watch. Now you can watch a bad werewolf transformation sequence in color.
Uh,
Or
you
I could just
know,
go watch American Werewolf in London, which is a good transformation sequence. He's not wrong. The Werewolf from Monster Squad was much. Thank you, thank you. Was I on this show when I talked about that I watched Monster Squad with my kid a couple weeks ago?
I
I
look, I'm
did.
sure
so.
they both had
It's
nards,
fucking
okay?
awesome.
Like, you
Dude,
know,
Monster Squad has aged so well. Like that is a movie
it did.
that. Here's the thing. All right, Universal has tried for 20 years now to package their monsters and make it mean something to a modern audience. In '86, they passed on Monster Squad. But because these are all public domain characters, the Shane Black and company were like, well, fuck it. We'll just make our movie anyway without Universal. And they did, and it was great, and it was fun, and it's far better than anything Universal has tried to throw at us in the last 20 years. The Monster Squad is great. It's aged well for the most part. Some of the dialogue is very 1987. Can't say some of the things they said in that movie now, but you
Nope.
know, it's a thing of its era. But it's a great movie.
Hey,
That's
I
a
like the
fun
Mummy,
werewolf.
the original Mummy movie.
The original Mummy is fun, but it's not like. Does that feel like a Universal monster movie?
Oh
at
no,
all?
no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's a fun
no.
movie. It's a
It's
fun
it's like
adventure movie.
it's like Indiana Jones, and I love it for what it is too.
Hmm.
You know, but yeah,
But yeah, everything else they've tried with the Dark Universe. Oh God,
Mm.
Jesus.
Dracula Untold and
That,
the Mummy with Tom Cruise. The Mummy with Tom. Just saying that is it's this movie is like 7 or 8 years old, and you say it, and it's like that doesn't even feel right to say. The
unless
Mummy
Tom
with
Cruise
Tom
was the
Cruise,
Mummy, but he doesn't age enough.
much
to-
like
to
a
play
mummy, he's been preserved.
True. At the Church of Scientology.
You know, he's going to
So-
die doing one of those stunts one day. He's going to jump out
Oh
of a
yeah.
plane,
Oh yeah.
and he's
yeah.
going to plummet toward his death and feel like nothing but zen as he's about to die. He'd be like, this is it. This is how I wanted to go. Keep this in the picture.
why do I get the feeling that when he hits the ground he'll just bounce and get back up? Because like
I mean, if
there's
anybody
something
can,
unnatural.
there's lots unnatural about Tom Cruise. He may actually be a vampire.
Possible.
Played one. Things changed after he was Lestat.
Again, like and subscribe for hot takes.
Hot takes from 1994.
Yes,
Right, exactly. Hey, it's a good movie, and it is superhero related, kind of with monsters side.
Oh,
of
Monster
things.
Squad. I was like, real interview with the vampire? It's all right.
No, Monster Squad.
Monster Squad's great. I have nothing but good things to say about that. Let's
For your
review the
kids.
Monster Squad right now.
You know,
Okay, wait, you
until
ready?
the writers and actors strike finishes and they get back on the.
You
And
ready?
that's
for,
all we have is movies from 1987 at
I
this
know.
point.
You ready for a controversial statement?
Sure.
No, but
That's what we
shoot.
do.
I have never seen Monster Squad.
You know, Mike
What?
on my other show, Mike hadn't seen it either, and I was shocked. I'm like, you're a child of the '80s. You've never seen the Monster Squad. I'm less surprised that you haven't because it was a little old for you.
Yeah.
Because that was skewed at like Mike. Like I'm just younger. I'm just enough younger than you guys, where I'm not terribly surprised you didn't see that movie because it was a failure at the box office. Like it's one of those things that if you didn't see it on cable, you probably never saw it.
right.
I saw it, but the reason why I saw it was because Saturday morning cartoons in the 1970s had a TV series called Monster Squad, and I thought, oh my God, they made a movie
The
about it.
adaptation, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it was not adapted. It was completely its own thing.
Much like
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
true.
Yes,
True.
and then they came out with the cartoon that was based on the original
I
series,
was so confused the first time I watched that at 5 years old, being like,
and then they came out with the real Ghostbusters.
Right.
which
the
is
real-
such
yeah,
which is actually like a really good cartoon that's aged
is.
again aged pretty well for the first couple seasons have aged pretty well for the most part.
done by J. Michael Straczynski.
He was one of the writers on that show, absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I believe he might have been the
And-
showrunner actually.
He was the showrunner and a
He was?
writer,
Okay.
and it was that cartoon series was good until the studio came in
Yeah,
and started interfering,
like
and they
everything.
kicked him off, and then it went right out. It
Like
went-
everything.
How far have we gotten off the rails?
That's what we do.
I
We're a
don't
half
know.
hour in, haven't done superhero speak or superhero speak.
They've-
We haven't done
They've disappeared
social
into the
media,
mist
whatever.
behind us. Yeah.
Right, or
Like
talk,
the gorillas.
and apparently we can't talk Loki because
You guys can talk
We can
Loki.
talk
I don't
Loki.
care.
Yeah,
You don't care about
can't-
spoilers?
What am I? Spoil a show that I'm lukewarm at best toward watching?
Okay. All right, John. What did you think of this week's episode?
I still think it's one of the best things they put out. I think if they had put this out and WandaVision and not put out, like, not even if they had just shot the guy who came up with the concept of
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, then
Brian Bendis?
we were a lot better off. I mean, like, no, just the idea of putting it to
That show.
whoever
that
wrote
we
this,
got.
whoever wrote the screenplay for the show, like, that was horrible. It was like anybody reading that should have known that it would have been horrible. So, and that's what Loki's fighting against.
Very, very
you know,
boring. What, bad TV?
like, yeah, well, Loki second season is fighting against the fact that, was it that the first episode came out the day after Ahsoka, and on a day when there was some kind of playoff football game or something. And now,
Baseball.
everybody's got Marvel fatigue, and and even though this is one of the best shows, like the end of this episode 4 was like, I can't wait to see the next episode. I wanna
So
know
Randy
what happens.
asks a really important question here. He says, "Was this the season finale of Loki?" Because it
No.
definitely seems so. No, and I have a theory
We all
about
have theories.
the end of this episode.
Tell us your theory.
Because these are. But continue.
You glitched there. We didn't hear that.
Oh, me, I said because these are great. Our fan theories.
Yes.
Your anger is
All right.
just coming through and glitching.
I give up. I'll stop talking.
No. I want to hear what you say too. It's like,
All right. So
Okay.
the season begins. Loki is slipping through time, right?
right.
And there's no real explanation of why he's slipping through time. He's just
And when he slips through time, it looks horrible and it sounds horrible.
yes, it looks horrible. It sounds horrible. And then, of course, someone prunes him, which ends up allowing it to fix. They have that whole plan. He gets fixed by the end of the
Well,
first
they
episode.
basically removed him from the time stream completely.
Right. And then the theory was that he pruned himself, right? So we saw that in this episode. And the cool thing about this is that, like, it then puts Loki in a position where he feels like he's in control. He now knows the road that he's on, blah, blah, blah. And we get to the end of the episode and the loom explodes. And that's how the episode ends. Well, first we get the twist that they kill off Timely. Like,
Which was one of the most horrible deaths.
oh my God, it was horrific. And on Disney Plus, and I was shocked.
JD, you would have loved it.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal. like
Not only
can't
did he
show
get
it on the 6 o'clock
spaghettified-
news. It's so brutal.
He got spaghettified, and you could see his skeleton underneath.
You could
and
see his skeleton and his entrails rip up into little spaghetti strands, and it was just gorgeous, just great. So
So
like I was just waiting for the big voice to come out and say fatality.
So it ends with the explosion, and then everything gets white and then goes black, right? And it just ends.
Well, he gets spaghettified, and then everybody, literally all the actors are sitting going, "Holy shit, what do we do now?" It's
Yes.
like even Loki, like they freezed on Loki, and he's like,
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Right. Like they put
Going
him in a
with what you
position where
said.
he felt very confident, and by the end of the episode, he's like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yep.
It explodes. So my theory is that explosion is what caused him to slip through time.
Interesting.
So, yes. And then something's going to happen in the next 2 episodes where he's able to redo things when he's slipping through time to fix it and keep it from exploding. So it'll be interesting to see how they get out of this.
I think pretty much the same lines. Like since he's out of time, he's the only one there that will go back. I mean,
right.
We know in the promos that he slips through time more.
Right. That's the other thing. Like we saw a couple more scenes that we haven't seen yet. So like obviously it's all going to be tied together. So,
right.
Like Renslayer gets pruned, but we know from the first season that when you get pruned, it doesn't kill you. It sends you to the void at the end of time where the monster eats you. I can't remember the name of The creature.
Kevin Feige.
No, was it the Feig 3000 or whatever the hell that thing was?
No, the Kevin. Yeah.
Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Well, yeah, but that monster was one that she helped tame.
Yes.
So it'll probably let her right by.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the monster either, but he's a big one. He's a main plot point in
In
some
a lot
the
of
comics.
and Marvel stuff.
But yeah, like again, it just you're right. It's such a character-driven show, which is great because that's mostly what we want, you know.
Right, which is another reason I'm shocked that JD hasn't watched it, because he understands the importance of character.
But he got to want to watch something. That's the problem. I don't want to watch it right now.
And Marvel is the reason. Marvel, it's their fault that you don't want to watch it because they
put out a lot of crap that we have to watch for the show, and that it feels like homework.
They haven't instilled a lot of trust in you.
No, it started sliding with the Eternal, Cap Winter Soldier. Actually, I was like, okay, it's not as good as WandaVision. It was all right, and then Loki was good, and then the rest of it since then has been ass cheeks.
Pretty much.
I can't argue with that, and that is the biggest problem,
especially on the TV side.
Yeah,
especially on the TV side. I did not like Moon Knight. I know I'm supposed to like Moon Knight. Everybody praised Moon Knight. We can't say the truth that Moon Knight was boring. And had boring. Nothing to do with anything. It was boring. Moon Knight was boring.
I thought it was okay.
But okay. I don't have time for okay. I want to be entertained. I don't want mediocrity. I just want something good. That's how I felt like they get me enough. They haven't had a good movie that wasn't a Spider-Man movie since Endgame.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I well, you know what?
Yes.
The two Spider-Man.
Good segue right into social media madness for this week.
Let's
Eliath. Oh. Randy said Eliath is the name of the dragon.
Oh yeah,
Eliath,
that's right.
Right.
That's
Thanks, Randy. Yeah.
Okay. So I posed a question to our followers on the social medias, and my question was, is superhero fatigue real, or is there some other reason that people aren't watching the movies?
It's a fatigue.
I got a lot of answers. I've lost some faith in humanity from some of these answers.
If you ever really want to lose faith in humanity, spend time on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you question why you go on. Why do any of us go on?
So first, we're going to start over on Instagram, where Zaid Asmadia.
Is there a naked? Is there a semi-naked picture of a girl? Because that's what I'm told Instagram is all about.
No, it's a guy.
And I'm disappointed.
Okay. His response was because they sucked, and they still suck. But how they suck even more because I think he meant, but now they suck even more because they know whenever the slob Disney drops, the piggies will eat it.
I don't disagree. It's funny. I don't disagree with any of that. It was very Simpsons worded. I kind of picked on Instagram at first, but it's not a terrible comment, and I kind of agree with them.
Wow. Okay then.
I mean, in one way or another, they're not wrong.
No,
but
it's not eloquent. There's better ways one could say these things, but I don't think it's terrible.
But then again, it's a diminishing return of people that are ready to eat the slop.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right, real quick. Hassan says, I think this discussion emphasizes something. A lot of the chatter that followed the shows like Moon Knight had a positive take. A few months later, the dialogue about these shows have become more negative. Yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer that these companies plant social media bots. Maybe they're not all bots, but they might as well be bots that try to steer the conversation into a positive direction. And while it's going on, you get people to engage, to watch. But in reality when the dust settles on these shows, people are like, that was ass. And because it is. Sorry.
All right, over on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter.
That's where we got.
I'm gonna change my handle to JD Oliva, formerly known as Twitter. Twitter. I kind of like that.
I've heard it called the dumpster fire, formerly known as Twitter, but see, you don't read the comments anymore on there. Never.
No, never read the comments anywhere. That's a rookie move, man.
I know, but there, especially now. But go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, read the comments, Dave.
We're done.
I have.
Yeah, don't read the comments. That's literally the whole bit. We read the comments. Never mind. Read the comments.
This is from Don, our good friend Don. Says, "I have B and C lister superhero fatigue. Give me the X-Men and the Avengers. That includes Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk."
That's a good one.
Bingo, bango, sugar in the gas tank.
That is one of the problems.
Spot on. No, he's 100% right. And here's the problem with these guys, with Marvel specifically, is they hit gold with Iron Man, who in the comics world is an A-list character, but to media in general before the year 2008 was a B-list character, right? And they hit gold because again, they put a real star in the role who was perfect and had a real director, and it fired on all cylinders. And the original Iron Man movie is awesome, right? And they've done it well. And then they had the audacity to release Guardians of the Galaxy. That's not even a B-list title. That was a D-list title. And you know what? It was freaking fantastic. So now they're super arrogant. And they think that we have look at all these characters we have. They would be great. And they wiped out the first generation of Marvel, and they've just left us with this. You know what this is? This is what Jim Shooter wanted for the new universe, right? His idea was to wipe out the Marvel universe and then reboot it as his own with the new universe. And that's essentially what Marvel's done, and what they left it with. So I'm tired. I'm tired of these fucking B-listers. That's what I said. Well, I like Spider-Man because they put effort into Spider-Man. There's no effort into the rest of this crap. I don't care about Captain Marvel. I don't even hate her. I don't care. I'm bored.
The problem
with fucking Captain America.
Part of the problem with their level of success was made them go, "Oh, we could do the Eternals."
The level of arrogance to think that, we'll just put Angelina Jolie in it. Everybody loves Angelina Jolie. The level of arrogance to think that you could make the Eternals successful when Marvel Comics has never made the Eternals successful.
Exactly. That's my point. That's never been a successful comic. Why did they think it'd be a good movie?
Okay, but let's be honest. This whole the rebirth of superhero movies started in 1998 with a C-list character adaptation. Blade.
You're talking about Blade, yeah.
Blade. Blade's never had a successful comic book on his own.
But that's also, I kind of feel like that was a movie that was made
not as a superhero movie.
Not as a superhero movie, right. Mm-hmm. It wasn't it was just, let's do a vampire movie and use this character Blade.
Correct.
And I don't even think Marvel cared that much about Blade. They were like, yeah, go, New Line, you can do what
they
you
were
want.
Broke and needed the money.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And then wound up working, right?
Yeah.
It really worked. And people they thought, hey, we could do this with our characters. And now here we are. Because we got rid of Iron Man and Captain America. You got rid of the heavy hitters. This is like a run of the Avengers where they get rid of all the real interesting characters because some writer really wants to give his take on the Black Knight.
And there was no reason to bring in the Eternals and the Celestials when they've already got Kang Dynasty and all this other stuff in the burner. They're just that's how what are they going to do with that, right? Stay focused, but they're not staying focused. They're just literally doing buckshot with
because Guardians worked. Because Guardians worked.
Yeah,
Guardians succeeded when it probably should have failed.
Well, yeah, but they then tried 8 different Guardians. None of them are hitting. They're not focused.
The Guardians was
still tied
Guardians was
the main
good.
Timeline.
The Guardian, but it was its own thing, right?
Yeah, it was.
But you know what?
Felt like its own thing.
I think they needed someone like James Gunn to do Eternals too, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tried to do too many heroes. They tried,
but they didn't need Eternals at all.
It was too big of a story. Also, a celestial being born out of the earth, and then nothing's been done with that afterwards either. It's it's stupid. It's just the whole
thing. Okay. Well, they don't need any of that at all. They have too many plot points. They don't need to add more plot points, but they keep adding more plot points, and that's what's because if there's no single storyline for people to follow, people are going to lose interest.
And and I think this is my problem with just mainstream comics in general, is that if you read for a long time, you start seeing the patterns develop, and you start realizing that nothing you're reading really has any stakes or really matters, right? Because it's going to get washed away eventually. Someone's going to redo it. So, like, I get this, like, when I look at mainstream comics now, I get this real defeatist attitude because it really feels like the stuff that you're super into is going to get rewritten and redone at some point for a different audience. And I understand that's how you keep the motion going. But at the same time, it's like, well, as a reader, it's like kind of like, what's my time worth? Like, if nothing that I'm reading has any real value to you, then why do I want to give you $5 an issue? Right. And that's why I've kind of, every time I try to get back into comics, this keeps happening to me. I'm like, oh, okay, so this story that I really like doesn't count. All right, I'll move on. And then like, the here at the movies is the same thing. It's like, we just don't have it. Like, we don't have the pathos of the original, that first wave of movies. Like, it's just not there. And sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle. The assumption is that you can keep catching lightning in a bottle. And same with DC. DC put out 5 movies in a calendar year, and none of them have done anything, but they keep putting them out. And they aren't even terrible.
Here you go. Over on the Tiki Talks, the depressed Octopus 8.
Did they shake their ass while telling you this comment?
No.
Will you stop?
That's disappointing. What's TikTok? That's what you do on TikTok.
That's right.
That's what you do on TikTok. The ass shake.
Right, so depressed Octopus 8 said, I don't think people are tired of superhero movies. I think they are tired of the amount of movies made.
Yeah,
From Iron Man 1 to Infinity War, there were 21.
And that's a lot of movies when you say it.
Yeah. Mike.
But every one of those movies was part of a timeline. And now you've got all these things that just, are all over the place.
Mike Sauce says, for me, it's the plot line. I have trouble caring about mending timelines or confusing time travel plots.
Yeah, it's hard. Time travel. Yeah, time travel stories are hard. That's what makes Back to the Future so special.
And Doctor Who.
I said when they introduced time travel in Endgame, they've opened a can of worms. And Zeus said, because quality has decreased. Mr. Arv Savage says, nope, movies cost a shit ton. $14 just for a ticket. So I can wait and the same movie shows up at my house for the service I already paid $14 a month for.
He's not wrong.
Well, sometimes they charge you an extra $30 or something like that.
Do they still do that?
You know what? I don't think they've done that.
No, they haven't. No, they tried it during the pandemic, and I don't think.
Although
the market went.
I will say there's that Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
So that's what I was going to ask about specifically, because the boy wants me to watch it so he can watch it vicariously through me, because that's really, really popular.
It came out on Peacock. Well, it came out. It's on Peacock.
I saw
at the same
that.
time it's in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it extra to watch it? Comcast employee, is it extra to watch that movie?
I don't know.
I don't think it is, because my girlfriend and her one son watched it on Friday.
So that's crushing, by the way. That's going to make $100 million this weekend. It was at $78 million on opening night. Like, that's doing, and all the kids know Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, a bunch of kids' classes turn in like Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. Like, it's kind of what we've been asking for. It's a property. It's based on a video game, but like, it's not from our generation.
Yeah.
But they've already had a few before that. The Banana Splits and a few other. There were movies that were kind of like
it's similar.
Five Nights at Freddy's, right? That's why her son wanted to watch it. He's 19. He grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. Yep. This is for the Banana Splits was for people like you guys that grew up in this, like children of the 70s, right? Like the Five Nights at Freddy's, while similar in plot, it's Evil Showbiz Pizza essentially. Like that's for the Zer. There's the, I don't know if they're Gen Z. It's for the kids. It's the kids of today. Are they Gen Z?
By the way,
I should know.
So Randy says
thermometer on that is 26%. The audience score is 89%.
Yeah.
Are you telling me a horror movie about animatronics gone wild is not doing well with the critics? The hell you say?
By the way, Randy says on the lines of TikTok, he says, not anymore. Now TikTok is about news and cooking shows and very little ass shaking.
I'm both impressed and disappointed to hear that.
Yes. Also, 8-Bit Ray said they should try making good ones. Ooh.
Dude, Ray always boils it down, man.
Yeah. And Dave
Fair enough.
Capacho says, because the characters are reach characters, give me a Batman movie, not these shit secondhand characters. Yeah,
To be fair,
that's a recurring theme.
We had a Flash movie that which was essentially a Batman movie that failed miraculously this summer.
Yeah, but that was right after some other really crappy DC movies.
Oh, I don't believe me. They've poisoned the well, but the movie all stuff it wasn't terrible. I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, but it wasn't like amazing either.
And then finally over on YouTube, where I think a lot of people are watching us right now, at Geoth 2675 said, Jesus, yes, give me a good Caesar movie or Alexander the Great, or hell, anything else at this point. No offense to the superhero crowd, though.
I don't know why you're watching that show. Here's the thing: did you guys see the Oliver Stone's Alexander the Great movie with Colin Farrell? Came out about 15 years or so ago. There's a reason you never saw it.
Okay.
It sucks. Sucks bad.
Luo 5870 said, because superhero movies have become underpowered woke political bullshit.
No,
I don't think that's the problem. I wonder what that guy's watching on TV right now.
Yeah, I kind of know.
Yeah, me too.
Henry Mickelson said, I feel like the superhero movies feel so similar.
Yeah, that's true. They are.
He's got a point there.
I mean, cowboy movies.
Yeah, they've got their recipes.
They got the tropes. All movies have tropes. Horror movies all feel the same. Cowboy movies feel the same. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, I can't argue that point.
And then finally, Night Shooter 4951 says, repetitive maybe. Me personally, I won't go unless my father or brothers want to go. And I'm always looking why spend money when I can just wait and it's on TV or I can stream it for free.
A lot of people have that that mentality now. The
expensive.
pandemic really changed how we watch stuff.
Well, yeah, that and the economy sucks. So people are trying to save money, and it's like they need a good reason to go out anymore.
Yeah, and even tickets, just the ticket, like it used to be just the concession stand, but the tickets are also very expensive. Especially like you want to bring a family of 4, you're going to pay close to $100 in just the tickets alone.
Right, and that's the thing. You can spend $100 to go to the movies, or save that $100 so you can buy groceries.
$100 would be like 3 months. 3 months on your subscription.
Here's the thing. We talk about this. We blame it's the economy, it's this and it's that. Taylor Swift put out a documentary movie, a rock concert movie that is not affiliated with any studio, and it made a shit ton of money. Five Nights at Freddy's is going to make $100 million this weekend on a budget that's a fraction of the size. If people want to Barbie, Oppenheimer, if people want to, hey, Classy, what's up? If people want to see the movie, they will go see the movie. It can, like, anytime you blame the economy, you're lying to yourself. They're lying to yourself. If people want to see your product, they will find the money to see your product. You can't blame piracy. Can't blame this shit. All you can look at is saying we didn't do a good enough job. We didn't do a good enough job.
That doesn't remind me, like, movie ticket sales are usually up when there is a recession or a depression or things are bad because people are looking for diversion.
Yeah.
But again, like, it's not going to be quite the same because we have other options like streaming and such now.
But again,
we didn't have in the past.
The reason why things are down, and I think this has been proven, is because for the longest time, this is, again, the market is what it is. When I say this, is like the studios, they provide what they think the market wants. And for the longest time, franchises is what the market wanted. This is the first year. And again, it's interesting because now we're 2 years out of the pandemic, right? and they were really keeping things stable with just these franchises. It's remember people that's the reason people that's why the reason why the snobs hate the superhero movies, because the artsy fartsy things weren't getting made, even though Scorsese just put out another 6-hour movie. Like, but they're failing now. That's the story of 2021. The franchise movies failed. What struck? Barbie, Oppenheimer. This Five Nights at Freddy's is going to win is going to be a big movie. I'm telling you guys this right now.
I kind of like Classy's take here. If the movie is less than an hour and 30 to 40 minutes, then the ticket should be cheaper. A longer film that's over 2 hours, then the ticket should be a little more. It's not a bad take, you know.
Yeah, but studios will cut a movie down just so it can be shown more times.
No,
right, so they can make more money.
That would actually be a better way for them to go, and I'm kind of surprised that that's not a thing, because they are. Think about it. If you got a 3-hour movie as compared to a 2-hour movie, like think about the less amount of times that can be sold. And the reason why the superhero movies got longer is because they were selling so much.
Yep.
And it was worth it because they were having the return business, so you could do that, so it wasn't hurting them as much.
That's why I honestly feel like that's why they've edited the Marvels down to under 2 hours, so they can get more sales. Yeah.
And check me on this. Like,
I will check.
I think the reason again why we are going with the studios are going with all these franchises and you know, making sequel after sequel to sequel is also related to the problems that SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild were having, which is all the studios want is money going to these CEOs. They don't, and because they're just so focused on money, they're only going to go with things they know are sure things.
Yeah, but it's always been
although they've created their own problem, because it used to be a sure thing with a sequel, and now they've pushed sequels so bad and they're just pushing out crap now. Nobody wants to go to see these anymore. So, you know, like they won't take I know movies, they say movies cost so much that they can't take a chance on something original.
A24 does all the time. A24 makes movies, they keep it cheap, right? They keep it relatively cheap, and their movies make money. They put out have you guys seen the trailer for the Iron Claw? Right, you guys know that's going to be something that's going to be close to me because it's a wrestling movie. They're putting out a biopic about the Von Erich family, Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, and it looks fantastic. And
A24 also A24 was not picketed by the writers and the actors because they were already paid. They agreed to the pay raises and stuff right off the bat.
A24 is like, yeah, well, sure. What do you guys want? Because they do a lot of star-driven stuff. Like A24 is closer to what the model used to be, right? They do have a lot of star-driven stuff. They do stuff that's cheaper. They're an indie kind of. They're a fancy indie, right?
But they take risks.
Like them and Blumhouse, they do take risks. Like I said, I'm going to go see the Iron Claw this Christmas when it comes out. Like them and Blumhouse are the ones that are like succeeding because their movies aren't stupid expensive. Like Blumhouse they knock out a couple horror movies a year that all do really well at the box office, except for The Exorcist one. The Exorcist one failed. Why? Because audiences are sick of franchises. They're sick. They're telling you this. I'm not making this up. We're finally seeing this. Audiences are finally sick of being given the same thing. Just look at the box office returns, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I think that is enough on this topic.
It's a great topic, Dave. It really is.
Yeah,
we're gonna
we will be talking about it again soon.
Oh, I guarantee it.
I'm sure. In fact, I think it's going to tie a little more into our main topic. So, until then, if you'd like to follow us on social media and be part of Social Media Madness, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
How's the show going? You join it? Do you want to be part of Social Media Madness? And go ahead and head over to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social links, episodes of the show. You can find comic reviews by Chris and other articles. We're posting stuff on there all the time. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Great shows like the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, So Wizard, and Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All Stars, and you will not be disappointed. So make sure that you are engaging with the Superhero Speak Twitter post whenever they come up. Give us your best comment, and you may make JD say this.
I get so tired of these dumb motherfuckers.
All right, it's back to the show.
I get so animated sometimes.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I miss Don. I miss Don. Like just his presence, his voice. I miss his show. I wish we could have more Don.
We all want more Don.
I like Don.
Don should come on the show.
Don should come on the show. It's been like a year plus.
Yeah, but he said Sundays are bad.
I
for
know.
him now.
I know.
So,
So we're moving to Tuesday.
I miss my friend. I could not do that.
all right. Well, you're here. Oh wait, what did Classy just say? Studio should hire me a good amount of pay to provide them help, but I will not live in California.
You drive a hard bargain, my man.
Yeah, I don't.
Classy, they could hire a bum off the street and make a more wanted movie than they.
No,
make
I don't.
these days.
I don't agree with that. Making movies is hard. It's a hard. Like, there's a lot of like movies that cost a lot of money to make that suck. Like, there's no guarantee. Like, it's a tricky thing to make a movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes people can do it for cheap and it works, but a lot of times they can't. It's bad. Like, it's just there's far more hits than misses with filmmaking. There really is. Like, it's a hard process, and trust me on that one. I speak from experience. It's hard. I made bad movies.
You know what else is tricky?
Drinking liquid while holding your nose.
No, getting subscribers. So while you're here, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications.
Bell. Bing, 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 bing.
Also, click the like button. Leave a comment. If you're watching this, especially after the fact, it helps with the algorithm. And you won't miss us when we go live if you subscribe. So, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We just got a new one today.
Oh, good.
And
Awesome.
I'm proud because I suggested one of the clips that's in this commercial.
Oh, God.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Here we go.
Podcasts are like this.
You seem like you work hard in bed.
I have to.
Are you into her having an orgasm?
It's not my kink. I couldn't care for it as much as I know they don't come back if you don't.
Really?
Yeah. If you don't make them, they don't come back. Rule of thumb. They tell their friends the next day he was great. Girls say he's great or bad in bed is whether or not they had an. You want a good review in their group chat? That's
I
Ryan.
don't always expect to have one. Maybe this is like a generational
I don't either.
thing.
I'm a big faker.
I appreciate that. Guys are offended. I'm like, thank you.
I stopped faking a while ago because I can't respect you if you bought that performance.
And some podcasts are like this.
How do you just put a gas station somewhere? Where do they get the gas? There's grass right there, right? Under that grass, mud. Where's the oil? Listen, don't let me finish. That was not there. There was nothing there but open terrain and land. And they just decided, hey, we're going to put a gas station here. How do they put down the gas pumps and then they just put a wire down or like a tube down there and then all of a sudden magical gas pops up? How do they get the
I'm
gas
about to
in?
take your beanie off and reset you. There's no way that you are this naive to the world.
Okay, well, where's the tub of gas, right?
There's huge tanks at the bottom that they built, like massive tanks. And every night, maybe not every night, but every night, every other night.
So the tank's already there?
No, they build the tank. Like you build a swimming pool. Like
You're dumb.
You don't have a pool in your backyard. It's grass and dirt. You dig a big hole, then you lay it with concrete. Insert pool. You don't have tanks. You clear the ground, dig hole, build said tanks, build gas station.
How big are the tanks?
They're massive.
That's anticlimactic.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
Anti-Grizzly goes to the fucking director. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
classless.
come on.
Classless.
I guess, bro. But like, you could
Say
just
based on the truth. Do something.
just make a documentary if you're gonna be that guy. Just be that guy.
No, dude.
The documentary.
Check it out. The editor was like, "Yo, I gotta tone this down a bit," and the director was like, "Bitch, what are you doing? You're killing the movie."
It's like,
The editor tried. The editor was the last line to finish. He was like, "Dude, this is ridiculous." And also, I'm not playing his music 85,000 times.
Play the damn thing one more time. Play it so I can finish.
Real talk. I was getting snacks, just humming that shit. Like, God damn it!
I heard it all day long. It was all day
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
Okay, so I wasn't sure which hijack movie they were talking about until they made the joke about the theme song. And then I immediately went, oh, they're talking about Delta Force. Because if you've ever seen Delta Force, they do. They play that theme song no less than 87 times throughout the course of that movie. And I'm not going to lie, I fucking love it. I think Delta Force, for a movie about a very difficult subject matter, and maybe now is not the best time to talk about the subject matter of Delta Force, quite frankly, but it's a fun 80s cheesy, Golden Globus movie. That being said, what the hell was that second episode? Was that second clip?
Right. How
What?
They got to be faking it.
All right. So first off,
that was the first clip, John.
No. There's no way anybody's that stupid. There's just no.
That I was on Facebook that came up in my reels, the second one, the gas station one.
Jesus
and I
Christ.
sent it to Randy right away, and I'm like, "You've got to do a new ad and include this."
That
So
can say I already had this one in the chamber, Dave. Great minds. That
Yeah.
was.
I know, yeah, because he was like done, and then like 5 minutes later, he sent me an email. So it's like, okay, yeah, he must have had it ready to go. But
dude, this person has a following, right? So I don't know who that guy is. I'm fortunate that I saw that person for the first time. So my feeds are clean enough where I don't get to see someone this stupid on like a regular basis. But this is clearly a dipshit. And his friend who has him on his podcast, so clearly they kind of know each other, says, "You are a fucking dipshit." This guy really thinks that they just stick hoses in the ground to create gasoline and is wondering that there's a conspiracy behind. So not only are you an idiot, but you're a conspiratorial idiot. Like, who is that dumb motherfucker?
you know what? But this is not the podcast, but that goes to a whole bigger issue of there's a younger generation that like doesn't understand the supply chain, and they don't understand where things come from. And
they don't understand critical thinking.
No, here's the thing. I don't think it's a generation thing, because I mean, there's a lot of stupid motherfuckers. It's just now they have access to the internet and can broadcast their idiocy on a wide level,
and get way more followers than we do for some reason.
I know, and that's the worst part about it. Is I'm like, I've never been this stupid. I'm pretty stupid, but I've never been that stupid. And that guy gets way more watches on his stuff than I do.
I don't understand Classy's comment.
There's a crazy wild light. That was
there's a light novel called Senior Variant.
It was released a long ago, but there has not been translated yet. I don't know what Classy's talking about.
I guess that's for John. Thanks, Classy. I got nothing.
But yeah,
now I'm gonna be humming the theme song from Delta Force all night long.
But you're right. Like, that's the problem with the internet. Everyone was given a voice,
and nobody. It used to be hard to get a voice, right? You either had to be really smart or really fucking stupid to get a voice. Now you just got to be kind of stupid, or just stupid enough to be like, wow, you're really dumb. I think I'm going to start watching that first show, because every time that comes on, I'm wildly entertained by the conversations these people have. So I may have to listen to that podcast.
I think the biggest
Dunning-Kruger is alive. You know, that's all I have to say.
It's one of those things where it's like, not only is he an idiot and he's on a platform and it's probably got more viewers and followers than we do, he's then spreading the stupidity.
I know, that's the problem, is he tells like 10 people, and if 4 of them are like, yeah, he's got a point, then you're really fucked. Right.
Yeah.
Akasan says, no, they really don't understand the supply chain. They don't know where food comes from. They have a difficulty linking beef to cows. Yeah, there's some dumb fucking kids out there. Although, to be fair, I think there always have been. I just think that now we get to they get to congregate in similar social circles.
Yeah, you're right, Classy. That is my because we're talking about Loki.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ron Possible. Ron
Okay.
Stoppable.
All right. All right. First
Ron
article
Possible by
here.
the end. But
This one I found.
No.
I found this interesting and a little dubious. So there's a new book came out. It's the official timeline of the MCU.
oh, this is a lot of people have been talking about this.
And they're saying this confirms that the Scarlet Witch died in Multiverse of Madness. Because it says in the book, Wanda destroys how do you say that?
Wundagore Mountain.
Wundagore. And collapses it upon herself, ending two great threats to all of the multiverse. But that doesn't say she died, it just says ended the threat, ended it at that moment.
But it could say that she's dead.
Right. It doesn't
Yeah.
say she, like, if it said she died, that would be confirmation. I think people
would have
are
killed her. But it said, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Poll. They give her clearly says she's dead, but also could clearly say she's not dead. It depends on if Elizabeth Olsen ever re-signs a contract.
Right. And I think that's the whole point. Like, they're leaving it ambiguous on purpose, but like there's so many people jumping on this gun. Oh, this confirms she died.
And you know what? It really doesn't matter. Anything related to comic books, when you say a character is dead, I mean,
It's only temporary.
Yeah.
That's literally what the X-Men is about right now.
And at the end of Loki, with everything they're doing, that could be a flashpoint for the entire MCU universe. So, like, and they're already talking about doing a soft reboot anyway. So
you're not inspiring confidence in me, John. But
I know. But
you missed that conversation last week where
I did. I was in the hospital last week.
They said that the Secret Wars event, whatever, I think it's a movie now. I'm not sure. That will end up being a soft reboot for the MCU. That's
like a Crisis.
Yeah,
I'm done. I am done. If I have to do a Crisis movie, I'm out. I quit the show. I will never watch anything comic related again. We cannot infest the normals with the worst that we have to offer.
I know, right?
We can't do it. No. Someone has to talk. That cannot be true. Time to make Aubrey Plaza the Scarlet Witch. Yeah,
she would. That would
be
work.
different. I really like Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch. She's great. Aubrey Plaza would be different. She's a lot older.
Yeah.
Too.
So, anyway, moving
right along.
Aquaman 2 has been delayed by 2 days.
Why?
No.
That's my question. It was originally supposed to be released on a Wednesday. Now they're pushed it back to Friday.
That's bad.
No, not really. Friday.
Don't they count on Wednesday and Thursday for?
Not if you
sales?
don't think it's JD. Stop, Kevin Feige. If I knew how to, I would have a long time ago. It used to be only rare things opened on Thursdays, right? But if you don't have the confidence, in your Wednesday, Thursday box office,
that's my thought. They don't think it's going to do well, so they're like,
why would they? What evidence do they have to think this is going to draw?
None.
That's everything. Everything they've released has been a failure, and they should not do it. I know they're all in on gun Superman stuff, and I bet we're 2 years away from that. Just stop. Stop.
So here's the thing: in a couple weeks, we have the Marvels coming out, and then the following month we've got Aquaman coming out. I don't feel like I've been inundated with ads for either of those movies at this point, which normally, especially movies at the end of the year during the holidays, you see ads all over the place.
No TV spots, nothing on YouTube when because they normally intersperse ads. Nothing on Facebook. They normally intersperse ads there.
I wonder if the thought is because I think we've clearly established, not on this show, but I think we've all come to admit that superhero fatigue is real. That I wonder if they worry if they advertise too much, it will push the audience away. Because The Flash advertised a bunch.
Yeah, it did.
Well, they were desperate to try and get people to watch that.
But that's what I'm getting at. Like, I kept seeing Flash ads constantly.
Yeah,
waiting for that movie to come out.
Whereas with this one, so I think they're trying to like flying under radar, which is odd to do with a multi-$100 million budget.
Yeah. Classy says apparently in the 30s and 40s, Wednesday was the premiere day.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense, kind of.
Not really, because like the matinee stuff, like Saturday was your big film day in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Although in the 30s, you had the Great Depression to worry about, so a lot of people weren't working anyway.
Ah, well, there you go.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
Or maybe they probably found out. Maybe they probably found out. This is probably before. Okay, so we talk about the 30s. So really, no, serials were in the 30s. So I mean, like, yeah, I'm surprised that it was Wednesdays. People work. I don't know.
Yeah.
News to
But
me.
again, I don't think DC's got any confidence in anything that they're doing right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
way-
gonna tie. That's gonna tie into our lead story really well.
All right, and then so Daredevil, Born Again show has landed a new director and showrunner. The showrunner is Dario Scapane, Scadapane, who was the writer for
Punisher.
Yes,
Yeah,
and the
which was good.
directors are Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who are the team that's directing Loki. So
It's a good start.
I think
don't
so.
want- I fear this because, like, God, I really love that Daredevil show. You know, I just don't want Feige to this. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say this. I just don't want Feige to fuck it up.
Well, though, isn't that the whole point? Like, he stopped what they were doing because he didn't like what they were doing and said, let's make it better. And now he gave one of their best loved series, The Punisher, the writer, and then the directors from Loki, which people are liking right now.
But can I trust Kevin Feige right now? Can I
As
trust
much-
that his instincts are correct?
I think it's a matter of he's overworked and spread too thin.
I kind of agree with you. At least Aquaman 2 will be released 5 days before Christmas Day. It will be. I'll be watching the Iron Claw.
But by the way, some numbers on the DC movies.
They're not
might
good.
surprise you. The Flash, the production budget was $200 million. The worldwide box office as of now is only $266 million. The one that surprises me is Blue Beetle was $120 million and worldwide box office was $128 million.
Because that was actually a good movie. That is a movie that was
I
just
thought so,
tanked
too.
by. That is guilt by association.
Yeah.
Movie
Yeah,
will find.
Fury of
I
the
think-
Gods is right.
I
Fury of
think
the
that
Gods is
movie
done.
will find an audience on streaming, and will be looked. I think that movie will be something that in a few years' time people will look back fondly on Blue Beetle.
Depends on what happens to their streaming.
Wonder Woman 1984, $200 million production budget, $166 million worldwide.
Okay, Wonder Woman's different because that was 2020, and that went
Yeah, I know.
right to Max. So I mean, that's like I think that you can't include anything like anything that came out in 2020, late 19, you know, even part of 2021 is like you have to judge that differently.
Especially anything that went straight to streaming.
Yeah,
You can't include.
And don't get me wrong, Wonder Woman 2020 was maybe the first superhero movie that I went, ugh, like that I was like disappointed, like looked forward to and was disappointed with.
Right.
Because Justice League,
anyway.
we all knew that was going to suck.
Yeah. But I thought like that would be interesting. Like the
It is
Flash
interesting.
really, I mean, it only made 66 million and I think that's just enough to, you know,
But it did
pay
make
off
money.
the
It
storage.
made, they're going to use accounting math, like all these things. Okay, here's the thing. Every movie loses money somehow because you need the write-off. Like there's Hollywood accounting that can make sure everything's okay. You know, that being said, Warner's needed a hit this year and they got one, but it wasn't from DC. Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
Barbie
And they've
was
got the
the movie
Batman
that-
Part 2 coming out in 2025. So we don't know about that. But Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, 2023, December 22nd.
I mean, like DC's had this, like Warner's had this weird year where they've had so many losses, like so many misses, but they had the biggest hit of the year. So is it a win or a success, or do you call it a push?
I don't think one win with all the losses they've had is enough.
I don't know. I mean, they made $1 billion, right? So
Yeah,
that
but how much did they lose on all these other movies? I think
Do
they
the math.
lost $1 billion. I'm pretty sure they lost $1 billion on all the other
Did they
movies.
lose? Did they lose on all those? Didn't John just give us the?
You've got to go back to at least Shazam. I mean Black Adam.
Yeah,
because they've all lost money.
They've all
every DC
Black
movie.
Adam production budget was 200 million. Worldwide was 390 million for Black Adam.
Okay, but now so now you add in the marketing budget, and you probably maybe you broke even, maybe.
Right. And then Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Shazam, Fury of the Gods was 125 million for the budget, and it made 132 million.
Yeah, so that's a loss, right?
That's a loss with production budget. Yeah.
Which is funny because the original Shazam was made for 85 million. And the box office was
production budget always goes up with the sequel. Everybody comes back because they can get paid more.
Yeah,
but even Universal lost money because of Mission
Impossible. Everyone lost money this year.
Yeah,
everyone, but except A24 and maybe Blumhouse. Blumhouse might have lost money on this Exorcist piece of shit.
Barbie was.
It did. That's why Dwayne got in trouble this last year.
Barbie was, let me see, where the hell is, they put these numbers. The worldwide box office for Barbie was $1,441 million.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
And like, where's, I don't see.
What's the production budget? That movie
production budget was 151 million.
That is a win.
Oh God, yes.
That is a win. You made $1 billion more than your budget. Plus marketing campaign, which they had a good one, but I don't think they went. They did not have the marketing budget that the Flash had. But
I guarantee when they went into 2022, they projected all of those movies were going to make close to $1 billion.
They're dumb. I don't know why they would think that. You might be right, but they have no reason to think that because nothing they've done.
So in corporate math, they've lost way more than they made.
Possibly, yeah. Like I said, they'll do the Hollywood math, and it'll all be a failure. But again, they've never had a movie that made $1 billion. Justice League didn't make $1 billion.
Aquaman,
Batman, Superman. Did Aquaman make $1 billion?
Aquaman wound up worldwide with $1,143 million.
Well, that's
on a production budget of 160 million.
That's a hit, actually. But that's it. Nothing else has been that level of a hit.
Yeah, Batman v Superman still made 872 million off of 263 million.
Yeah, but the studios also get their monies back from streaming rights and all kinds of other stuff. So they basically what they lose in ticket sales, they make up for in other stuff.
Batman v Superman did okay, but I think after Batman v Superman, people learned.
Okay, here's the thing. What did Batman v Superman make? It was like it wasn't like 700 billion or 700 million.
It was 872 million worldwide.
Should have been 100 billion.
That should have been 1,872,000,000. But
that should have Batman versus Superman should have mowed down all kinds of box office records, and all it mowed down was my patience and tolerance for existence,
and everyone else's too.
Oh, it was so bad. I'm hard on everything right now, but nothing is as bad as Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, look at these numbers. They've just gotten worse and worse and worse
for DC because of Batman versus Superman.
Mm.
All right, let's end with the news with one good, kinda good.
We didn't talk about. You guys didn't talk about. Hold on. We talked about Warner. I thought we were going to get into the fact that the story is that the rumor going around is they're going to sell Warner Brothers to Universal.
Yeah, we're going to get to that after.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say the last story. I'm sorry. I don't have my notes open. The computer is streaming.
A 10-minute Batman and Superman fight over a 3-hour film.
Martha!
Yeah. That ended with them screaming Martha. All right. The last bit of news is... all right, so I like the Peter and MJ relationship in the comics. Do you like the Peter and MJ relationship, JD?
It's the foundation of great comic book romances.
Yes, and so do you, John?
Yeah, it's like Superman and Lois.
Apparently, in the Ultimate Universe relaunch, Peter and MJ are married and have a family.
So basically, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse basically showed them that yes, you can have a Spider-Man with a kid and have people love it.
As long as it's not your current Spider-Man. Although I don't know why we need 2 young Spider-Men in the main universe now. Having Peter and Miles fulfill that role seems a bit overplayed.
Exactly. Like you
to
can
me.
having Peter as the older mentor with a family and maybe less likely to do dangerous things and let Miles do the more crazy stuff.
I think you still need to do crazy stuff, but that's like the source of drama is I have the kid at home. Like I think that absolutely like because I prefer
Classy.
Black Cat versus Spider-Man. Black Cat doesn't like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Black Cat doesn't like Peter Parker. That's
Doesn't
the
like
gimmick.
Peter Parker. She only likes
Yeah.
Spider-Man. That's
She
the
only
whole
wants
point.
to get Spider-Man. He takes out the mask, she gets turned off. The
Yeah.
relationship can't work. All they can do is fuck. Like
Normally, you
that's
put the
literally-
mask on to turn.
Yeah, that's the relationship. That's always been since 1982. That's been the relationship.
Yep.
Like, no, I think that because Miles was such a success and transferring him into the 616 was a good move. That you could age Spider-Man a little bit, but Marvel won't let it happen. And if you read a lot of their comics now, it's not a lot of great Marvel comics that aren't called X-Men right now. So hopefully Hickman can do something with this.
I was about to say, I think this was a brilliant move on Hickman's part, and I think we're going to prove this. Maybe I'm wrong. I think this will prove people love that relationship, and it'll be.
People do. But that's the thing, though. Nick Spencer's the culmination of Nick Spencer's run, and when he was writing Spider-Man, Peter and MJ were back together. They were just
right.
They were dating. They weren't married. But like the culmination of his run was undoing One More Day. And understanding, and it was a great end. Like I'm not a huge Nick Spencer fan, but I loved the end of his Spider-Man run, where the entire they gave reason for why Mephisto was so quick to do the deal.
Right?
Do you guys see this? Did you guys read this? I think we talked about it on the show.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, the whole reason why Mephisto had to do this is because Spider-Girl was going to defeat him.
Yep.
Which ties into why he positioned himself as their little girl. And like it took a bad story, it didn't like make it better, but it gave so much more nuance and subtlety to it. It's one of the best, like I don't know if you can call it a retcon, because that's just what comics does, is you pile on to stuff later on. But it was such a great little bow to the end of that story, like
kind of like what they're trying to do with Star Wars.
Yeah,
trying to give more meaning to the sequels.
I mean, like, but so well, it works so well. It's such a good, and it's really goes back to the whole thing is about Norman's a piece of garbage, right?
Yeah.
And it was, I highly recommend even if you never read any of Spencer's Spider-Man, read the last like year. It was excellent comics.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I am, and the funny thing is, I've been out of comics. I haven't bought anything in a while, especially because of the stuff they've done to Peter, but I think I'm definitely going to pick this up.
I am too.
I was turned off by the idea of the new Ultimates, but it's like I want to read this though.
So I loved Ultimate Spider-Man. I was telling Andy about this the other day. Like the Bendis Bagley run on Spider-Man, on Ultimate Spider-Man, is like one of the best runs on a comic book from just a solid creative team. Like they're on that book for like something like 120 issues. Just the two of them. Like it was great. And it's really good comics. And then it's okay when it's not as good when Bagley leaves. And then they bring Miles in. So I mean, like the whole thing is you get like the birth and death of Peter Parker. And it's like when Peter dies in the Ultimate Universe, like that's one of the most like it's undervalued now because of what a tremendous success Miles Morales has been. I don't think it's an overestimation to say Miles Morales is the most successful comic character created in the 21st century. From the big two, name a better one.
I mean, you got popular ones like
Deadpool came out Deadpool and Harley Quinn came out in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not only was Miles created in the 2000s, he was created in 2011 or 2012, something like that. So I mean, like he's a smash hit. Like Miles works. So I mean, like
I think the only other punchline.
Then Miles? No.
Maybe Kamala?
No. Look at Spider-Verse. Like Miles is a cultural touchstone now.
Yeah.
Like as much as Peter is to like the world, and believe me, I did not love the fact that they killed Peter and was going to bring him in. I thought the whole thing seemed gimmicky at the time. I was wrong. It was good comics, and they managed to take a great concept that Brian Bendis created and make it better in the movies, because they are. The Into the Spider-Verse story is better than the Miles origin from the comics. It just is. Like, Damian Wayne is cool, but he was also not as big a character as Miles Morales. Like, Miles Morales is far and away the most successful character, and Damian's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Love Damian Wayne.
Static Shock's another one that's good.
Static
It's
Shock's
just
from
that they've never
1992.
Right. Yeah. And I think, and Damien wasn't meant to stick around, but people liked him, so they kept
It worked. Yeah, Damien was like a happy accident.
Yeah.
Like, Miles was a gamble. Miles was a big gamble for Marvel. It really was.
Miles
has video games.
Video games and movies and cartoon shows. Like, Miles is, like I said, he's a pop culture juggernaut. But because he's become that, why can't we let Peter Parker be what he was again? Right? You don't have to chase the ghost. You don't have to chase the ghost of Steve Ditko and John Romita with Peter Parker, because we have Miles that can tread all this ground in a new way.
Yep.
So why? I mean, like, why can't Peter be in his 30s now?
Yeah.
Because that's what the fan base wants. Like, but again, Marvel's writers, the people who write and edit Marvel, are, dudes that, like, have to, like, that are stuck chasing stuff from the 70s, that can't let the character grow up a little bit, because I don't know, man. I don't know. Not happy. I think the Scarlet Witch book's gonna be pretty good, though. I really do.
Yeah.
The only good thing about Miles is Rio Morales. I don't know about the only good thing. I love Miles Morales. I got a kid who's sleeping next door to me who thinks Miles Morales is the coolest thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid can, like, look up to a Black Latino superhero as the awesomest thing in the world is a nice grand statement on where we've come as pop culture.
Yeah.
It's a good sign for society.
I think one of the things that people have always said that not Peter or Miles, the reason Spider-Man has always been such a popular character is because his costume completely covers him. So you can anyone can imagine themselves in that costume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Spider-Man.
Yep.
And it works. It turns out inverting the color scheme also works.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a real quick commercial break and be right back. No, second.
This is our third.
No.
Oh, we don't count the down one? The down stuff doesn't count as
commercial? No, that's not a commercial.
Oh, okay.
All right, and we'll be right back with our main topic.
Wow, the stinger.
Timmy, I'm from the Dream Come True Fantasy Contest. You ready to wrestle?
You bet. Mom, Dad, it's really him. Hold on. Okay, now I'm ready.
It looks so real.
Don't count on Sprite to do anything but quench your thirst.
Want to go 2 out of 3?
I love the kids screaming in the background. It's, oh God, I want to look at this. Okay. Nice.
What? Yeah, do you have a little something on right here? Wait, right here.
Yeah, just
you can't
in
see
this
me.
general
You
area.
can't see me.
This is like most of the acting in the Michael Myers movies. Is the guy just tilts his head like a dog?
Yeah.
The whole time, and you get like reactions from it. That's all you can really do in an expressionless white mask. No, I had that idea when I saw Dave put on the Sting commercial again. I'm like, I'm gonna put on my Sting mask.
That's all. That's all the expression you can do in a William Shatner mask.
I feel like
William Shatner from the Devil's Reign mask specifically.
Yep.
Let's get granular. Anime changed me for the worst. Anime is a mistake.
Oh,
that's not me, but it's Frosty who said that.
Oh, that hurts.
Excuse me, Ulysses said that.
Why would you say something like that? How could you say something like where the hentai exists? I mean, geez.
Sorry, did the crow. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. This is not the crow. This is Sting. It's totally separate. There was no influence whatsoever from the crow on Sting. It's a very natural progression for a guy who has a blonde crew cut, blonde, to look like this shortly after. It's nothing to do with the crow. Nothing whatsoever.
I picked that commercial because, I think that's the future of Warner Brothers, that little kid.
Possibly.
All right, so what's Classy saying here?
Dave,
Anime
please
has
take
so
that
much...
down. Anime has so much fan service and freaking hentai LMAO. Okay, we are flag on the play. Repeat first down.
You know, uh,
So Warner Brothers.
Anyway,
Dave.
Warner Brothers. So this has been going around for a while now. That the rumor is they're going to be bought by Universal, and
John, you want to fade out of this one because Universal is Comcast.
there are things I can say and things I can't. I'm pretty sure I know where the line is.
Fair. Okay.
So-
Just want to make sure you don't get yourself in trouble.
actually, you could just actually start this off by saying, "I'm a low-level employee at Comcast, and I really fucking don't know anything that goes on above me."
Ruin the gimmick.
At first, neither of those remarks are true. I'm a systems architect at Comcast who wrote the framework that the billing system runs on.
System architects are a dime a dozen.
But no, I mean, but yeah, and I know certain things. I've heard certain things, but I won't say anything that I know. And most of what I know from that side is rumor. I am plugged into the.
Here's the thing: when I did a little bit of research, there's nothing really from the Comcast Universal side. This is
they are very good at keeping.
These are people on the Warner Brothers side saying, "Yeah, we're getting ready to be bought, and we're pretty sure it's Universal that's buying us."
Yeah, that's
the rumor. I just lost John. Did I lose you guys?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. John hiccuped on my end. So anyway, the rumor that's been flying for the last year or so, probably since around the WBD merger, was that Zaslav wanted to architect another merger with Comcast. I thought when I heard that, I'm like, that's too big. The government's never going to let that fly. Like, that's just too much. I didn't think that was possible. However, the idea of him spinning off and selling Warner Brothers specifically to Universal, like the Warner Brothers, not Warner Brothers, we're talking about film, the Warner Brothers film studio, very similar to how Fox sold off 20th Century Fox to Disney and kept Warner. Randy says coming soon, Justice League versus Fast and Furious, maybe. So the idea that Zaslav is not a film guy, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of his moves are he's a reality TV guy, and that he's from the Discovery side of that. So I don't think he's truly passionate about the film end of this plot, but I think they were interested in it because DC could be a moneymaker. That has not happened.
I was about to say he bought them, and then look at all the DC movies since he bought them.
Well, a lot of that stuff predates him, right? Is they bought this, looking at all the stuff we have. Look at all this stuff we have, and because the merger happened in 2022, so for us, that would be dope. Though Superman in a leather jacket riding a motorcycle, we've had that actually. That's been a thing.
That's called Lobo, but
yes. Well, no, it was also the 90s.
Oh yeah,
we had that.
Yeah. After Death of Superman.
Correct. No, that's the thing. Is I think this could happen. Like he's got because DC has been nothing but a millstone around them, and plus the president of DC Comics, the one in the war, not the publisher, not the editor in chief, but the head, the person who took Diane Nelson's job, Pam Gifford. She's gone now.
So it's funny because it leaves a lot of questions, like
tons.
So first off, yeah, if they're just selling the movie division, and anything that falls under Warner Brothers, yeah, right, because that would be the comics as well, right? So it would be everything. But not only that, Harry Potter, there's a lot of stuff.
Legendary.
Not only that, so does that mean but the HBO stuff they'll keep?
Yeah, they'll probably keep that because they want the channel. I imagine now. Here's what I imagine. I imagine they sell, but they want the right to distribute. Like not distribute, but they're going to keep some deals. Like, hey, we're going to sell this to you, but we also want Warner Brothers stuff streaming on our platform.
Yeah, but doesn't Universal have their own streaming?
They do, but they also there's more money in selling stuff than there is in having your own. Because Peacock, John, turn off your thing. Peacock has spent billions of dollars and is not anywhere close to making a profit.
Yeah.
So Rainey says, Fast Family are the closest thing to the Royal Flush Gang, too. Hey, that's a good point. That's actually a really good take on the Royal Flush Gang. There's a pitch there,
actually.
quite honestly. Zaslav started WBD in early 2023. Has it only been a year? I thought it'd been longer than a year. I thought the merger happened in April of 2022. I don't have my computer open, so I can't look that up right now.
I felt like it was the end of 2022 is when it was finalized.
Yeah, finalized, but I'm pretty sure they took control of everything in 2022, like spring, summer 2022. Because you could see, like, and I said this, I've been talking about this for a year now, is the merger happens, stock tanks, and it never quite gets back to where it was. It's funny because now TKO, the WWE UFC combined stock that spun out of Endeavor, has also tanked and has not come back. So it's like people think these mergers are like a key to big money, but we've seen these big mergers not work well. And even going back to AOL Time Warner in the 90s, like that was a disaster in and of itself. Like I don't think these big mergers are as successful as people think. And you can say, well, look at Disney and 20th Century Fox. Disney, they didn't merge. Disney just bought it and said, this is ours now.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, right? Because I mean, I've been parts of mergers and whatnot, and it's like there's always like, well, we already have a department that does this, so we don't need that. But it's like, yeah, but our department's in the middle of doing this, and there's all that kind of crap that goes with mergers, and it's never a good thing.
And the good stuff from the people that are getting bought usually doesn't survive because the company that bought them wants to keep its own people,
correct?
Not the people from the original company. So you lose good people.
Even in a merger, they paint mergers as like, hey, we're coming together. It's two companies coming together.
No,
but in reality, there's one. Yeah, 100%. In reality, one company comes in and plays a position or a strength of position.
Right.
A position of strength. I can say that.
Yeah.
And then
one company is almost always bigger than the other company.
And in this case, it was Discovery.
Yeah.
That came in over Warner, which is why David Zaslav took control and why things are a lot different there than they were 3 years ago. But Warner, and I've said this on the show many times too, Warner Brothers has a long history of being bad and doing bad things and wasting money, right?
Yeah.
Like the amount of billions upon billions of dollars that have been wasted on unmade Superman movies is astounding, right? Like they're amazing at pissing away money.
Zaslav, like in 2023, Zaslav oversaw cuts to the Turner Classic Movies, known for its contributions to film preservation. Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, and Paul Thomas Anderson met with him to receive assurance that the Turner Classic Movies vault would be protected. So he's not a great guy. I mean, like he's cutting
CEO.
money.
Yeah,
I know.
But again, they have not done well since the merger.
Yeah.
Right. And they're gonna want, okay, here's the thing too, that people don't talk about. The NBA rights are up this year. That's that's a decade. That'll be a decade deal. So they're all in. Like that's Warner Brothers' big concern, or WBD's big concern now is securing the NBA so they can have full access to it. Because again, they want to bring live sports to Max. Right. Yeah. That's how they're going to save Max is live sports. So the film division is in the way, and they could sell that and use that money to help them secure a bigger deal for the NBA. You damn well better believe they're going to do that because it's not what they do. Right. Yeah. Discovery has never been in the business of making movies, and that's never been a great marriage. Like you just talked about, John. It's like Zaslav's getting yelled at by all these directors that he doesn't give a shit about.
Also, in August 2022, Zaslav received heavy criticism for his decision to heavily shrink down the content library on the streaming service HBO Max by avoiding residual payments to be used as a tax write-off. The total accounted loss was nearly $25 billion off the company's market cap.
They needed that. They needed.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were sinking, but then that told all the other streaming services, "Oh, we can do that." And now all the other streaming services are like, and to be fair, Netflix has been doing this for a long time, and Disney's been doing this with video, with the physical media, where oh yeah, we've released all this stuff. You better watch it this month because it's going away at the end of the month. And maybe won't come back.
I'm telling you, this is not what he wants to do. I think he's going to see a chance to make a lot of money by selling Warner. And I don't like that Warner and Universal would become one studio. I mean, they probably would do it just like, okay, Comcast will, the two studios will run together. It doesn't work that way.
Harry Potter's already in Universal, so.
the studios, but like Warner owns the rights to it. That's different stuff, but you're not wrong, right? There's something there, right? It's gonna be. I mean, I can't see why they don't try to make that happen. I bet by year's end that deal becomes
So,
official.
all right. So the first thing is, what do you think that means for Warner Brothers if they're bought by Universal? And
It means they're going to combine that lot in California.
Means free comic books in our kitchenettes at work. I don't know.
Hopefully,
imagine a WB Peacock.
Well, here's a question. Here's a real question.
But no.
WB
Hold on,
channel
let
in
me,
Peacock.
here,
That would be
let me ask my question first. Does that mean that like James Gunn's new DC universe would be in jeopardy? Do you think because here's the thing. You do it now while the strike's still going on because that means things aren't finalized yet. So it's easier to kill projects.
Like he did Batgirl and the other one, the Scooby-Doo one.
Those are different, but I mean, like, the deal's probably going to be finalized by the end of the week to get them back. Here, the thing is, like, even if they're back, nothing's being done right now. So it is a time they're going to do a Monster Squad remake. That'd be awesome if they did. They've been talking about that for years. I just think this is going to happen. Now, here's the real question: does Comcast keep DC Comics?
I could not answer that, and I don't know anything about it.
It's an IP farm, but is it valuable enough?
Well, okay, here's something I can say. On our Comcast is losing subscribers. This was just announced in the in the round. Was it the
Comcast cable subscribers or like
we're losing subscribers.
For cable or for Peacock?
Well, internet subscribers.
Internet subscribers. Okay.
But the thing is, like, our stock took a hit last week because of that.
Surprising.
It was announced. So we lost like 3-4%. So
wow.
And people inside are pissed because our stock options are still at the same level they were 5-6 years ago. So if they got the comics and they can use that IP farm to diversify, that is probably where the company really wants to go, because all these streaming services and everything, and Peacock losing money, like you said, physical cable is not going anywhere fast. You're losing subscribers on that.
Fast. It's going fast. This 2023, you see more cable subscription losses than ever before. Like, it's plummeting.
Right. So everybody, and it's, and we're going to hit an equilibrium, because like we keep talking about all those streaming services, the prices keep going up. I think Disney just announced another raise or something. So like all those prices, you get a certain number of streaming services, you're right back where you were with the cable bill. So that's going to hit some kind of equilibrium at some point. But I think the future is a streaming service, and then Comcast just goes with selling internet access.
We're talking, they could sell to Marvel. No, they don't want to do it to Disney. And Disney, okay, a couple things. Let's do the first one. Kassan asked, are we talking about more of WD entire company, or does some segments stay under the umbrella? No, not the company. There was talk about that. That was a rumor that Zaslav wanted a merger. That doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. It like they would just sell Warner Brothers, the studio. So then it would just be Discovery again. But they would retain HBO, Max, all that kind of stuff. It would just be the film wing of Warner Brothers.
What about Warner Brother Records?
No one cares about Warner Brother Records. I don't know.
Warner Brother Records is a money farm. All they do is do strikes against people on YouTube and stuff now.
Those people are
evil. Their whole point is keeping everybody from playing their music.
The music industry is so weird. Like, film studios let you post videos and stuff like that, but I mean, like, I don't know. Music is a weird entity. No, it would just, I don't know what it'd be, but it would just be they're talking about selling Warner Brothers, specifically the film studio.
I mean, there's a lot of, I really hate to use executive speak, but there's a lot of synergies. Like, there is Universal Park. It'd be great to start adding new stuff to that
Yeah.
park using the
Just
Warner Brother
there.
IP. Right?
It's a great park, 100%. And
Yeah,
Warner
put-
Brothers.
I want to
is-
see the
you
Warner
could
Brothers and the Warner sister in
You could see
in a water tower.
You could see Batman and Spider-Man together at the Universal parks.
which is weird, but you could do that because they have a long. The Universal Studios
In
is a long-term
perpetuity.
deal in perpetuity with Universal,
and they wouldn't have
Weird.
to pay any. They wouldn't have to pay the licensing rights for Harry Potter, even though I'm sure those rights are starting to lose their value because it's been a while now.
That's right. I wrote Hagrid's this year, and that was packed. Let me tell you, people still dig on
Okay.
Harry Potter stuff.
But
and
there's
they're talking about
licensing
it.
rights we don't have to pay.
But they're doing it. There was talk of WB doing a Harry Potter thing. So, and then someone else had a question about why won't Marvel buy it. Pull that up. Is it Randy that said
it
it?
was Randy,
No, because Marvel's not a thing. Marvel is a wing of Disney. And if you're following what's going on with Disney, Disney's hurting too. Disney's talking about selling ABC. Disney's talking about selling a lot of its ancillary channel television networks. Like Disney's looking to be getting out of the live television business altogether.
And also
that makes sense.
As soon as
right?
you tried to sell them to the WB to Disney, that's when the FCC would probably get involved
I could see
because
that.
that would be a monopoly problem. And,
Pretty sure
and
doing
the
actual-
new head of that division of that bureau is way more on the ball than they have been in the last 50 years. So-
Classy, what you're talking about, Classy, is just Pinewood. Pinewood Studios in London's been around forever. They would just have space in Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
I think Max and Discovery are not part of this. They are not part of this. It's just WB Studios and the publishing. And the publishing wing right now is basically DC Comics.
Yeah.
Netflix or Disney Plus is the most priced streamers, and Max has been dethroned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Max is not as expensive. I don't see how Universal would let go of Max. It's a treasure because they don't get that. That's not the deal. The deal is you get the studio.
Yeah.
And they're not interested. I mean, like, here's the thing: these streaming services aren't making money.
No.
They're all losing, and I'm talking about billions. None of them are close to making profits. Like, this is everything that's been going on right now is like you're investing in the future, right? Because the idea is this is going to be the future of how we consume television, and it's happening, but it's slow. And a lot of these companies spent a shit ton in the years of 2018 to now to build these up. So now they have to look to lessen some of the bleeding, right? So Warner's not like Max. They can't merge the companies and you can't sell everything. But what you can do is you can sell something that should be profitable. And that's Warner Brothers Studios, but they're not in a position to run it clearly. Like they had a big hit this year, which makes the price a little bit higher. But then you have all the stuff that's failed. So what's going to happen is you have Warner Brothers Studios, you sell that to Universal, right? And then everyone that works for Warner Brothers Studios, bye-bye.
And you have to remember that most of the reason why all of the money around these streaming services is being shaken up is because when the pandemic hit, a lot of the economic problems hit those services. And up until then, you would say, oh, I'm going to start a streaming service. And all the investment groups would be like, oh, here's a briefcase full of money. And then when the pandemic hit, a lot of economic problems came up and those investment places were like, okay, let's see our return now.
Yep.
And all the streaming service companies panicked. And that's
They're
when
not in
you
a
started.
position to. They're not in a position to return money, and that's the problem with venture capital in general. Is venture capital comes calling, and they're like, "Hey, we want our money back now." And then you gotta. They're like the mafia. Like you have to start figuring these things out. And none of them are in a position to figure this stuff out. Like I said, Disney is Disney, and they're looking like they're talking to Nexstar about selling ABC. That's a deal that could happen by the end of the year, right? Because they've got a lot invested in Disney, and they're talking about spinning ESPN off into its own thing, where ESPN would exist outside of cable, right?
Which it used to, or it's come full.
Well, it's got
circle,
ESPN
right?
Plus.
ESPN used to exist on its own, and that.
Well, yeah,
right?
it did, but they're talking about taking it off a cable. Period. Where ESPN would not be a cable channel. ESPN would just be its own thing. Like if you want to watch ESPN, you have to pay for ESPN Plus. That's the only place to get ESPN.
And remember, like ESPN and the NFL IP and all that, those are some of the biggest reasons why your cable bill is as big as it is when you have a cable bill, is because the NFL, the MLB, NHL, and ESPN, they keep asking for more and more money.
Because they're the only thing that delivers consistently. They're
Well,
the only thing
also
on
because
television that's growing.
But they are part of that problem is because they keep paying more and more to the players, and you've got it's way overblown at this point. You know,
But it's
going to get to the point where nobody can afford it.
But that's what's going to break down because people are always going to want to watch football. The NFL is a monster.
I know, but it's getting to a point. It's the same problem as trying to buy a seat, next to the dugout in Yankee Stadium. Is that everybody's getting priced out except the rich people because
That's not true. You just got to get
more.
It's just got Prime. Amazon just picked up the NFL. It's on Thursday Night Football's on Amazon.
Right, and then they charge more for other stuff. Like Amazon has a wide enough base where they can.
Correct, but Amazon, that's who's making money right now is Amazon.
Right.
Everybody else is struggling except Amazon. So Amazon's trying to be a big player.
I know, but Amazon's going to get hit with a whole bunch of legal problems from the way they treat their drivers and everybody.
Maybe.
Nah. Eventually, Amazon will own everything.
It depends on how many Amazon warehouses unionize.
They'll wind up paying more, and they're gonna jack their rates up. What's gonna happen? Prime will cost more, and it's gonna be like $2 more because they really don't need that much from an individual to get these things done. They're just cheap, right?
Yeah.
But they're the ones they're streaming. They have the money to make their streaming service a thing, right? And they're the only ones who aren't like deficit spending. Everyone else has been deficit
because they have this huge other
Amazon.
Operation they can pull money from. Yeah.
Right. And they said that them getting the NFL is big boy. Like them and YouTube TV has a Sunday ticket. So the streamer, the good streamers, Sam said I just said
Classy,
that.
Yeah, it's going to be Idiocracy, Classy, but instead of Walmart.
I mean, it was Shell Oil before that. I mean, like it's not like they've been owned by companies forever.
It's gonna be what you call it, Demolition Man, but instead of every restaurant's Taco Bell, everything is Amazon.
Same as Idiocracy type of thing.
You still get the runs. So yeah, I mean, I fully expect this deal to happen with Warner and Universal, unless something changes. Which again, stuff can always change, but it makes too much sense right now because Universal, they aren't in a phenomenal spot with their film division, you know.
What I'm saying, do you think it hurts any of the projects currently?
Yeah, I do, 100%. Yep.
Yeah,
because like John said, like we all talked about, when mergers happen, you don't keep everybody. You got those people. So a lot of it'll hurt at the executive level more than anything. But I do think James Gunn gets a shot.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like because
I think
at the moment he's the only hope for the DC movies to make
and
money.
He's succeeded a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, and that's what Hollywood cares about. I'm having a hard time understanding how streaming services with 100 million subscribers starting 15 months isn't making money. Even Max is around because it costs billions to get it started. Like a Peacock isn't. Sorry, John. Peacock isn't close to making a profit. Not even close.
The other thing would be like executive pay is 300 to 1,000 times what it is for normal, and right, like the biggest problem right now is the top layer of management is milking everything so hard.
I think that's part of it, but I think there's a lot more to it as well. Like,
well, there's more to it. Yeah, I know, but one of the bigger problems is that when
if you're
paying
only
somebody $60 million a year,
if your only income for the platform is the subscriber, like yes, $150 million, or I'm sorry.
Peacock don't have 100 million subscribers. They have 80 at tops.
Right.
So they're under 100 million. $15 a month. Crunch the math. That doesn't get you to billions of dollars.
Right. Exactly. And then what does it cost to produce a TV show? What does it cost to buy a movie? And you're not putting commercials on it like you used to do on TV.
They are now. They are now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and we were just reading all of those DC movies cost $200 million to make each one.
Right, and so you're not making, like, if I watch 5 DC movies on a platform in a month, that's not $15 that can be divided up into all those. Once you've divided
just $15.
Exactly, like that's the whole thing. Like, where when it goes to the movies, I have to pay $10 every time I go see.
And that's the thing is this made sense when just Netflix was in this business.
Yeah.
But then everybody's like, oh, we can get in this business too. And they didn't realize they cut out the revenue stream.
But Netflix is still doing okay.
But also, Netflix didn't start off with any original programming. It was just like a competitor to Blockbuster.
But now they're doing original programming too, and they're still doing okay. Like they apparently seem to know what they're doing.
They're doing okay, but like they didn't spend as much to get started, right? They've slowly grown their business.
And there's also a lot of talk around Netflix of like, you know, they're just breaking even on some months. You know,
well, they got rid of the sharing your password thing, and surprisingly, like it actually worked, and they hit a huge subscriber bump. But they also saw this all coming.
There was a lot of people who quit Netflix when they did that.
True, but they also
replaced them.
They easily replaced them by far and got a lot more subscribers.
I thought it would kick them in the ass a little bit more than it did, but it worked.
Yeah, right. And the other thing is Netflix saw all of this coming. Like they've been prescient this entire time. They saw this coming and they started making their own content. And that's, you know, and now we find for a streaming service, that's what you need to do.
Well, Classy.
Yeah, but that's not what they net. You know, like that's just they're grossing that, and they got to spend. They're spending money too.
Like, how much do you think it costs for them to pay for the rights to stream the Great British Baking Show, just as an example? Because it's, you know,
and you gotta everything costs money. Content creation costs money. People who work there costs money. Like running these servers costs money. Like it's expensive. Like being a streamer is a fortune, right? And
but again, Netflix
has grown it for a decade plus. That's the advantage they have over everyone else. Is they were in this business longer than anyone. They've spent less, shockingly, than everyone else. You know,
and they made the right moves at the right time.
They really did.
Right.
Every single time.
I truly believe that it'll go back to the spot where everyone's like, let's just sell this shit to Amazon. This isn't worth it. I firmly believe that. We'll see if I'm right. Or sell it to Netflix.
I'm about to say something's going to happen because
you can't spend billions and not get a return on your investment, even if you're a monolith company.
This can't keep going. Like, and I think part of the problem is, and I've said this before, is that all of these companies looked at Netflix and said, I want to control where my stuff is streaming. I don't want to give it to Netflix anymore or Amazon, and I want to make that money. And it's like, it costs a lot of money to start it up.
A little bit harder than they thought.
Well, that's the thing too. Why do you think the big fight with the writers and the art and the actors is like, well, we want a piece of the streaming pie, and they're like, there is no streaming pie, but we can't tell them that there's no streaming pie.
Right.
That's the problem. Is they shut syndication. So back in the day, here's a history lesson. When you sold a show into syndication, in the US was 100. You have 100 episodes of a television show, then you can sell it to syndication. And that's where the real money rolled in. Like, because you're talking about like people who were SAG, people in the WGA would get those residual checks based on syndication. There's a lot of shows that like made a killing in syndication because of the commercials and because they're reliable. Stuff like The Simpsons, stuff like Seinfeld, stuff like Friends is still killing in syndication. Big Bang Theory right now was killing. They've had a big fall off in 2023. So this is where the money was. But in the last decade, we've upended the business, right? Where things are being like more of a British model, right? Whereas shorter shows sold to specific streaming platforms, and the money isn't there.
Yep.
It's not. Where does, like John said before, like you watch 10 television shows, you only paid $15. You know, and that's the base. Is just your subscriber base. Where's it coming from? Like everyone bitches, commercials. Commercials are the lifeblood of television.
Yep,
they're the lifeblood of TV, and without them, you got to wind up paying through the nose, and nobody can do that right now. So without commercials, where does the money come from?
Well, again, also they know exactly how many people. They know all the numbers. They know who's watching. They know if you were on a show, they know exactly how many views that show's getting. They should, and they never. All these streaming services wouldn't release those numbers at all to the writers and the Actors Guild. So So that's one problem, and the other problem again is CEO pay. I'm never going to stop talking about that because
Oh, it's a big
just
problem.
absolutely ridiculous.
It's a huge problem. It's a huge, but they're getting theirs because they know there's nothing else there. That's the whole thing
Well,
with the CEO stuff is you make your money now because you're going to get fired in 5 years.
And the thing is, I think there's two sides of the numbers thing. One, I do believe there's a lot of people who subscribe to stuff and don't watch it. Like they just forget they have it. It's like a gym membership, right?
100% that model. 100%.
They rely on the fact that a lot of people forget it and keep paying it because it's only
like a
like
gym.
$5 or something.
But
except that the prices are going up now.
Then people are going to know. Then they know. $5 you let it slide. $15 you start going, hey man, that's $15.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I haven't watched that in 2 months.
But then, like you said, they don't release the numbers, and I think that's part of the reason that they don't, because it's like, yeah, if they have 200 million subscribers, but they only have 30 million active users, right? Like,
well, this is the reason why the Writers Guild, part of the agreement was that they would release the numbers to the Writers Guild, and the Writers Guild could release some numbers, but not all of them.
Right.
They can't release any of
there's
the
an
raw
arbitrator.
data.
But also, like, the other flip side to that is, like we just said, like, people are saying, oh, well, they're making all this money, and it's like, yeah, but how do you divide it up? Again, if let's say everyone who isn't an active user canceled and they only had 30 million subscribers, and like I watched 10 shows in a month, I watch 10 shows every month. How do they divide my $15 up to all of those shows? Like, you can't, right? They're gonna get a penny a piece by the time it's done.
You are outlining one of the major problems is when they created these streaming services, they did not think about paying out residuals and all this other stuff.
You know what they didn't do? They didn't watch Superman 3. The Richard Pryor scheme. Remember, he's stealing all the fractions of a dollar.
Yep.
That's what this is.
That's Office Space, right?
Yeah, I got it from Superman 3. God damn it, that's the
okay.
joke in the movie.
Fair enough.
This is a superhero show.
Yes. Yeah, you're right, though. I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
they never considered it. They just said, well, we're going to take all this money ourselves. We're going to make it for our company.
And I don't understand.
Blah, blah, blah. They never even thought about
Make it now, because what happens to all CEOs get fired in a couple years? No CEO lasts a decade. None.
And they get the golden parachute, and then they go get hired for more money.
I don't understand how
make yourself look good for the market. That's what it is. Make your company look good on the market now, so when you're fired, you get your golden parachute. You get to find another CEO job.
You
so
know
talk
that
about how you got your profits up.
My issue is that there was a low-level guy in accounting who said, "This isn't profitable. Like, this marketing, this is just a scheme to look good. Like, this is not going to make us any money. Why would we do this?"
Well, they
were just like.
That's because the venture capitalists were still giving money at the time, and now the venture capitalists are like,
but that's
it's time
the
to start showing us the
that's
money.
the problem with being a publicly traded company.
Yeah,
it's not about growth; it's about showing that you're hitting projections, right? And as long as you hit those projections, you can say, "Look, we're building toward this. We've got this. We've cut this amount of expenditures." Right? That's what it's about. That's why having these publicly and people are starting to figure out that having a publicly traded company it may be the best thing. Residuals, just bonuses if a show makes.
Yeah, so the Writers Guild, the new contract answered the question: no residuals, just bonuses if the show is 20% of its subscriber base.
Which is not terribly dissimilar to working on a show that never reaches syndication.
Right.
Right, because you get paid by the job until it hits syndication.
Right,
and that's hard.
That also means
the vast majority don't hit syndication.
Right, but that also means you're not going to get paid not in perpetuity, like, right, because like the show is never going to go into syndication. Once it goes over 20% of the subscriber base, you'll get that bonus, and that's it. Like, you're not going to.
And once it's average, it's going to get pulled from the idea of the streaming services. Everything could live here, and they've decided nope. Now stuff that's kind of average or performs below, it's going to get just like back in the day. It's going to get canceled.
Yep.
And people are upset about that. It was like, well, these shows are canceled. That's terrible.
Right? Again,
but that's what happened. That's what happened for decades.
The two great examples, the Sci-Fi Channel and Netflix both do this. Very rarely does a show last forever on Netflix. It's like if it becomes too expensive to make, sci-fi does the same thing. They just kill it, like regardless of the view of the ratings too. But
Well,
at the same
Netflix is
thing,
famous for that.
right?
So is
Like, they
Fox,
kill-
by the way.
Because those are companies that play with smaller budgets typically.
Right.
Like Netflix spends their money a lot smarter than a lot of these other companies do.
But they've
like,
killed
and
a
it
lot of
sucks.
stuff.
Yeah,
that,
it
like, is
sucks for
popular.
fans, but that's what TV was too for a long time. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you only got a season of this show. Oh, I really like that show. Well, it's fucking over. Try to buy it on videotape.
You know what isn't gonna get canceled? The Blu-rays that I buy.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
right. Those exist forever. And
So we-
I got a hunch because
They'll
of
come
all this,
back.
physical media will come back because it's going to be. We had this idea that everything could live streaming, and then we all figured out, boy, that's really expensive and it's not really feasible.
And
Maybe
then
we should-
Zaslav took like 20 million hours off of.
But they're going to figure. But again, they're going to figure it out. It's going to come around. They're going to figure out, hey, we can make money if we sell a Blu-ray or whatever the equivalent's going to be in 10
Yeah.
years of 4K Ultra of this.
That's Disney.
Put it out.
That's Disney. Well, it's
Disney
10
already
years. It's 10 years since we released Snow White, and we haven't sold it in 10 years. Oh, we're coming out with a new special edition Snow White.
Unless you live in
get it while
Australia.
you can. Yeah.
Well, again, it's going to change. It's going to change because they're not going to be able to. Disney's fine right now. Disney loves its vault. Its vault concept is like built into the company fabric. They're going to figure this out, that eventually releasing some sort of physical media. Again, look what's big now. The music industry, the most, how do I phrase this? Records sell more than anything else right now in music. Sell, right? Sell. Because those are people that care.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the music fans. Those are the true music fans. Buy
audiophiles,
vinyl.
yeah.
And what's going to happen is the movie file, the cinephiles, the people who like these like great one season TV things that kind of slip through the cracks, they're going to buy it because they want that. They want to be able to watch it. And I'm not going to be able to have it on my streaming service. Streaming is going to be able, and just like regular TV was, if it ain't working, it's gone. But there's a market for these things, right?
Especially if it comes in a nice steel book.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're gonna have this. It's gonna take a couple of years, but that's gonna happen again. Physical media will become a thing again because of people like John who want to own these things, and people are gonna want to watch this great show. I really want to see Batgirl. It fucking sucks. We don't want to have it in no space, but we'll do a run of 10,000 CDs, DVDs, whatever you want to call them, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you just mentioned
Gonna
that,
happen.
Dave. I just ordered the steelbook for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, the second season, which comes out in December. So, and I don't, I've told you before, Paramount is one of the few streaming services I don't subscribe to because it's just one step too far for me. I've got too many already. Get the whole series in a steelbook, on Blu-ray, and I'll be able to watch it without having to have bought Paramount.
There might be companies like Anchor Bay. Remember Anchor Bay used to just buy these shit movies and they would release them on DVD and they would make a fucking fortune.
Oh yeah,
Just like, you're gonna have
the bargain bin in Walmart.
bargain bin DVD. Yeah, 100%. You will have that. That will be a thing. People will buy shows, right? Here's a 10-episode show. Didn't quite last. Well, we'll sell it to you. And again, the company's going to figure out, hey, we can make some money on this failure short. Oh, this was a success. Well, we want that back so we can do this again. Like I'm saying, there's going to be a freaking market for this. It's emerging. It's coming. Like if I can see it, they can see it. I'm an idiot sitting on a podcast. I guarantee these smart people are like, hey, you know what? We just got to go old school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do
I haven't seen Lower Decks Kasana. I'm going to get those on Blu-ray as well.
Well, I will say this. So my brother is a huge movie collector. Like he has his entire basement. It looks like a Blockbuster, filled with DVDs and Blu-rays and all that. But oh, pardon me. He brings up that you can't even you used to be able to go into Best Buy and they had a huge movie selection. And he's now it's just whatever's just came out and whatever's super popular. Like they don't
not only that, they're gonna get rid of it. Best Buy's not gonna have movies on the floor.
Yeah, and then he said the same thing with Target, like that they've really cut back on what they have out. So
because right now
there's cut back. So.
Well, there's not a market for physical media right now, and I'm not the stuff I'm talking about. It's not going to happen tomorrow. I think it's going to be 5, 6, 10 years down the line.
But the question is, when people have learned to not go to those stores anymore to buy it, then all of a sudden the market comes back.
Records, man. Look at records.
Yeah, you're right.
Who own record players?
That's
what I'm
I'll
saying.
Be getting one for Christmas.
People like you, yeah. But that's what's going to happen. And now young people own record players. Like,
yep.
People are going to want to buy stuff, and it's going to become. It's not going to be what it was, but it will be another source of media. It'll be another source of revenue, another source of media.
And it's going to be boutique like records are now.
100%. Like comics.
So instead of spending
$20, they'll sell them for more. But they were cutting down. All the companies were cutting down on the companies that were creating Blu-ray players, and now they're starting to make them again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also look at like a lot of the game systems can play them too. So it's like
true.
You know,
it's coming.
Like I have a PS5, I can play 4K videos in that if I want to. So,
and like I said, because people won't be able to have because again, the streaming services were sold the idea everything's going to be there. Ooh, this is a lot of money. Not everything's going to be there. Well, I want this thing. Well, we'll sell it to you for $200. Okay, I want that. Yeah. If someone wants something, they're going to pay whatever. And like I said, it becomes a boutique item, like a fucking $5 20-page comic.
Yep.
See how I brought it home?
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly. Brought it back to comics.
Right.
So Warner Brothers is going to be bought by Universal, and they're going to sell movies for $500 on Blu-ray.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Welcome to the future, people.
Like RoboCop. You'll buy that for $700.
Yeah. Inflation. Yeah. Even though that was the future, which is now the past. Yeah. Anyway.
Does the last Fast and Furious
got to be your bull?
Yeah. Did the last Fast and Furious movie make money?
Probably not. Nothing made money but Barbie.
I was about to say, because we did say that the last Mission Impossible didn't make its projected.
John, look that up. My computer is a webcam right now.
What did
last Fast and Furious? Fast versus Furious? What the hell? Fast X Furious? I forget.
Fast X. Fast X was the movie this year.
Terrible stuff.
From the numbers, the Fast and Furious X was it?
So yeah, 340 million budget, 714 million worldwide.
Oh, it did well. So it did.
It did really well.
Yeah. It's a silent hit actually this year.
Yeah,
that was
everyone loves family. So
those movies have a loyal fan base.
Yes, they do. People that like Frosty answered to. I mean, Kassan answered to. I know people like Nishit, one of the guys we worked with at Point Roll many moons ago.
Oh my god!
One of the most like soft-spoken, like you would not think that this guy was huge into action movies, and he loved all the Fast and the Furious movies.
People love them.
Yeah,
I don't, but there's a huge market for them. Clearly,
even their price is going. Their box office is going down there because Fast and Furious 7 made $1.5 billion.
Yeah, but look at
and it's been going down.
But all franchises do that.
Yeah.
All franchises trend downward. That's why you make more movies because you can.
Yeah, but it was going up until number 7.
Yeah, but that's like,
don't do that.
Yeah, that's like that bucks a trend for most, which is fine. In this, if you make 700 million in this climate, you did good.
Yeah, yeah. This is it's been bad.
I'm gonna say this. I never thought this. It's not Barbie money.
Oh
my god!
You know it's you're not incorrect.
That's a real thing that I just said that made sense to everybody.
Too bad it makes sense now. Yeah.
Too bad when we set up the stream, we have to pre-name the shows now because
I know we lose that moment where I got to come up with cool ideas for.
Yeah, it's not titles. Barbie money. Is
I know.
the
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Perfect.
I actually heard. I took a class, and if you put hashtags in the titles of the episodes, it's supposed to help the algorithm. We should start doing that.
In the title? Oh, okay. I only put the hashtags in the description, but all right.
Yeah, but as they said, hashtag in the title actually helps.
I will do that. All right. All right. So I think this is a good place to put a pin in it. So let's go around the room and do any of you guys? Did any of you learn anything this week, or do you have any recommendations? And JD, you can go first.
I learned that I miss talking to you guys. It's been a couple weeks. I will recommend going to, if you have a symphony orchestra in a major metropolitan area near you, and if they do a movie night, go. It's a lot of fun. They play a movie, the guy we did today. They played The Nightmare Before Christmas, the film, and the orchestra did the live soundtrack. And my wife and I, Michelle, have been doing this probably about 15 years. And we have the best time. I took Andy to Ghostbusters on New Year's Day, and he just loved it. And we're gonna go back on New Year's Eve to see Back to the Future. Right, it's always something classic. Right, it's always something like timely, and it's a great time going to the movies. It's a little bit different, and you get a little bit of culture.
All right, John.
Well, let's see. So, was it 2 days from now? Justice League X Ruby comes out on
These
Blu-ray.
X's.
I don't know.
X, so stupid.
Yeah, the only one that's good is Spy X Family. Anyway, but Justice League X Ruby, the part 2 comes out in 2 days. So, if you want to get the whole set, you can now, as of the 31st, get both Blu-rays and watch it. It's actually pretty good. If you know something about the Ruby universe, and you like Justice League, then this was well worth a watch. So I'm suggesting that. I'm also suggesting Loki. You should definitely watch Loki.
Don't tell me what to do.
No,
I recommend Loki as well.
Don't tell me what to do.
All right. I learned that I miss JD as well. He adds such a great dynamic to the show.
Thank you.
So you make us think, you make us laugh, you make us cry. I'm actually going to recommend, because I did watch it, but I know you guys didn't watch it, or maybe John watched it. Lego Marvel Avengers Code Red.
I tried. Andy shot it down.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't even give the time of day.
It wasn't as highbrow as most of the other Lego stuff. It was very basic.
It's very basic.
I got a 7-year-old, so I thought it would appeal to the 7-year-old.
I was about to say, it's very geared towards kids. It's a father-daughter story, which shocked me. It's Natasha and Red Guardian.
But it's very close to the old, kind of like, here's your story and here's your moral that has to go with your story.
Here's your moral, and then here's your and all your Lego craziness. It's fun. It's a fun little hour and like 15 minutes or whatever it is.
What didn't you like about it?
Didn't watch it. I couldn't even turn it on. I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to watch this? He was like, nope. I'm like, well, it's Lego and Marvel and da-da-da. Nope.
Huh.
Okay, we'll watch SpongeBob.
All right.
Yeah. Wow, I'm shocked. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Watch it. It's a fun little distraction. And it's not tied to any other Marvel movie, so you can watch it and enjoy it. It's a standalone. So
I feel like
Frosty's comment really.
Yeah.
Kids. Accurate.
Accurate. Yeah.
I also recommend that if you're watching us right now after the fact, you didn't watch us live, click that subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we do go live here on Sunday nights most of the time, unless someone's sick or getting their hands cut.
Sorry.
I also recommend. He's suffering from JD's Marvel fatigue.
Vicariously.
I mean, they live in the same house, so
yeah,
it's funny. Could be some cross-pollination there.
He wants me to watch Five Nights at Freddy's because that's super popular with the kids. Kids love that stuff. And I'm like, buddy, have you ever seen this? He's like, no, but everyone talks about it. I want you to watch it so you can tell me about it. So he wants to watch that movie vicariously, which my wife has put the foot down on. No, I'm not allowed to.
I also recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page. Comic book reviews by our good friend Chris, and so much more. And that's all I got. So don't know what we're doing next week, but the week after that will be the Marvels. So JD's gonna be sick. All right.
Oh God.
So On that note,
it could be worse. It could be Spider Gwen.
as always,
those movies are good.
Thanks for watching. Don't let your cape be caught in the door. Have a good week.